Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. All right, guys. Well, here we are for another live stream, and I appreciate you all coming tonight to hang out with me and a special guest who I'm going to introduce to you guys in just a moment. But I first want to say thank you and acknowledge all of my amazing Cravenites. And you know who you are. And if you don't know what that means, you can find out by becoming a channel member right now. Go next to the subscribe button, click the button that says join, and you can join to be a channel member here and become a Cravenite. And there's all kinds of great perks. We have a lot of good fun, a lot of good times, and even special members only live streams. So check it out when you get a chance. And I'll show you some folks who have. I want to say thank you to all of my channel members. You guys are absolutely amazing. You continue to blow me away with your support here on the channel, and your monthly support helps the channel to continue to grow and enable me to bring you more videos and live streams like this and interviews and all of these things I've got cooked up in my head for you guys in the near future. And also to my patrons, appreciate you guys as well. You all make this so extra super special. So thank you so much, guys. Love you guys so much. Now, I have been talking to you guys about my guest tonight and teasing her for a little while now. It's a first-time guest, and I always tell you, and I will always hold true to this, that I will never ever bring someone here as a special guest, a content creator that is not valuable for your time. That your time you would go there and not have good content waiting for you and a great person. All right? So those are my criteria. And when I first saw my guest on my fellow Lethal Collective members channel, the Night Watch Zone, Night had her on as a guest, and I was watching the live stream, and I was so engaged with her personality, her knowledge, just the whole stream was just so enjoyable. And I immediately said to myself, I have got to reach out to Gory. I have got to do this. And I texted Night, and I said, man, that was a really great. I said, she would be so much fun to talk to. And he was like, oh, man, she's fantastic. You know, we were texting about her. So I reached out to Gory and introduced myself and said hello. And long story short, she's here tonight. And I'm so excited to talk my favorite franchise, Scream, with an amazing person who, let me tell you what, her name is Gory B Movie. And I'm not intimidated very easily, but when it comes to B movies, she's an encyclopedia to the point where it's like, okay, I'm a little intimidated to carry on a conversation. I'm going to stay in my wheelhouse, right? We're going to stay in my wheelhouse where I feel like I know what I'm talking about a little bit better. And so we're going to talk tonight about Scream 6, legacy characters we want to bring back. And we're going to look back at the franchise and have some memories we're going to share as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. As always, guys, it's unscripted. We're going to go with the flow. And we'll go with you guys, too, as always, in the chat. So, without further ado, I've set everything up. I've said all I want to say. Let's get to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, please give a round of applause and a warm Craven Something Scary welcome for Gory B Movie. What's up, Gory?
Hi, nice to be here. Oh, I'm not muted. Okay, good.
No, you're good.
It's a real honor to be here. I'm a big fan of your show and your streams. I love Wes Craven. He's my all-time favorite director.
Yes.
Scream is one of my all-time favorite movies. But I mean, it's not just Scream. Like, I also love Deadly Friend and Shocker. So this is entirely a channel that I mark out for. So it's a big honor to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, the honor is all mine. We're going to have a great time tonight diving into things. First of all, I want to jump to the chat, though, before we get into it, and want to see who we have here tonight. We've got quite a few folks that have joined the chat, and I see we've got some super chats have come in here tonight already. Wow, you guys are amazing. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to try to go in order that I see them here. So Jason's in the house with a $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Stu lives. All aboard that Stu train. Stu. We don't do choo-choo. We do Stu. So that's how we do it over here. So pumped about tonight's show. Let's go. Only question about Scream 6. How many people will Stu kill? That's what I'm talking about, Jason. You already know. Hashtag Funko still lives pop. Stu killed Dewey. Oh, yes, indeed, Jason. Those are great points, great questions, and we're going to dig into this, trust me, because I have a little birdie told me that my guest tonight might just have a ticket. She might just be in that train with us, guys. I'm excited. We're going to get into it. But thank you, Jason, as always. Appreciate you, man. And yes, Stu lives. And you know what? We the first Stu reference, it's tradition. We have to do it. Let's go, guys. All right, let's get it up. There he is. Let's get it up. Look at that, guys. This Stu train. There it is, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That is the most amazing image ever of, yeah, I know, right? It's like so we're trying to get the most amazing image of Stu. I will, man. Wow, that encompasses him.
I've met him.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. Yes. Well, tell me now. Let's jump into it real quick. Now I'll come back to the chat.
I obviously was excited because I loved him in Hackers and I loved him in Scream. My son, though, is the world's biggest Scooby-Doo fan. So to him, that is Shaggy. And so I was excited to meet him. But, it's fine if you meet somebody and they don't live up to what you want because you're an adult and you can accept that maybe they're having a bad day. But this is my son's hero. This is Shaggy. So I was really nervous, because we go and watch this interview. And granted, a lot of people in the audience were being assholes. They're like, why do you salivate so much? And of course, he's heckling them right back. He's on it. He's hilarious. But I am a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, I really want to ask him what his favorite Scooby-Doo series is, but I'm worried he's going to make fun of me. I was like, I don't think he will. He's a dad. And those people were being rude. And so he raises his hand. And not only does he answer my son's question, he's like, hey, buddy. And he walks right up to him. He's like, what's your question, man? He gives him the full attention. A room full of people gives my son full attention.
Aww.
And my son asks him, and he says, Mystery Incorporated, buddy. He's like, come here. And he does the Shaggy voice in his ear because he's not really allowed to legally do that outside. But he did it for my boy. So he's on cloud 9, and I have so much respect for this person because you make my kid happy, you've made me happy. So I'm already a fan, but now I'm
that's so awesome.
We go see him, and I got to talk to him. I love Hackers and Scream, and he was just telling him like how great it was to see him on the special features and stuff. But then my son gets to meet him, and he remembered him. He's like, buddy, and he's like, does he got a photo or anything? Like, yeah, his mom already got him a photo and an autograph. He's like, well, I want to give him something. What can I give him? And they had Scooby-Doo hats. He goes, this is from me to you.
Oh.
And he gave it to my son. He's like, I want a picture with him on his phone. It was the sweetest thing. Incredible person. Wow. And I'll always be thankful to him for being just a genuinely good human being outside of being a great talent.
Oh, what a great story to hear, man. That's because you just never know, right? You never really know for sure what they're going to be like you say, when you meet someone, and that's just amazing. That makes me, I already am all about Stu and Matthew Lillard, and that just elevates me to another level with him to hear that story. That's so cool.
And because in your chat, they're talking about Serial Mom. Yeah, he talked about Serial Mom. He even talked about Ghoulies Go to College a little bit. But Serial Mom was the first one he was really excited for. Like, that was a big movie. He brought all his friends to it. He was really excited. And Hackers, like he talked about, working with Angelina Jolie before she was like a big thing, but he didn't really get to know her that well.
Yeah.
He said he really isn't that big of a horror fan. He wants people to watch more of his non-horror stuff. Like, he's proud of Love's Labor's Lost, the Shakespearean one he did. But he's very proud of Scream and Stu, and he loved that because this movie, as you guys know, because they didn't think it would do very well. Slasher movies not doing very well. They kind of turned a blind eye to it. Like, Wes Craven, do whatever you want. He got to do what he wanted. And Wes Craven is somebody who trusts his actors. And so he's like, that's great. You do that. And so Matthew Lillard said he loved this movie because he really got to go to like an 11 and nobody was going to tell him that it was too much.
That's right.
Stuff is ad-libbed, which is great.
It was. It's right. It sure was. It was perfect. It was a perfect example of, and it's what frustrates me later on, because the Weinsteins got into meddling into all of Wes's business, changing the scripts, changing the stuff. And that one movie that they stayed hands off was Scream 96. And I can only imagine how the rest of them would have been. I still think they're great now. It's my favorite franchise. But I'm just thinking, like, imagine what even more we could have gotten from those films if the Weinsteins had just stayed out of it and tried to, and like Lynn said the other day, Maureen Prescott, when I interviewed her last week, she's like, that one day on set with Scream 3, she looked over and Wes was on the phone. He hung up and he looked really just kind of frustrated. He just looked really kind of down. And she asked him, is everything okay or something like this? And he says, it's going to be a Miramax day because he just hung up with the Weinsteins in New York. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, just imagine if they'd have left him alone, the things that he had to pull back on and not do, and just the meddling that went on, right? It's where I use old-fashioned name.
I cover a lot of B movies. I cover a lot of deep dives, and a lot of times where things go wrong, it's the money people. They don't understand art, and they think they understand what's going on, and they really don't. They really seem to lack understandings of horror audiences. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of studios that specialize in horror, but even them, I feel like the money gets in the way, and you need to trust the artists.
You do. I mean, Bob Shea at New Line is notorious, like back in the day with Nightmare '84, because that whole ending, that wasn't the ending Wes wrote for Nightmare, and Bob's like, no, you got to go back. We want sequels. You got to go back. You got to. So he had to shoot that tack-on ending with the mother through the front door being pulled through the door. That was all added on because the studio wanted that. That was not Wes's original ending, and again, it gets what you just said. It's the people that are they're not creative people, they're business people, and they have talents, but I say this, you hire someone because you trust them. If you hire a filmmaker, don't hire them and shackle them. That means you got the wrong person. Hire the right person that you can say, go make your movie. Yes.
And it pisses me off with the Weinsteins. I mean, obviously we've learned a lot about them since then.
Big time.
Which are horrible things. But one of the things that pisses me off is they got their start by co-writing The Burning together. That was something they always wanted to do. They always wanted to do a Crowley movie. So they came into this as artists. Now, you would think that being their origins, they would have a little more respect for the artists they hire.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's, what it is? It's power, and it's money, and it's ego, and this narcissistic monster. It's like the Babadook. It just grows stronger. And I think that a lot of it is just when you reach that certain place of authority and where you're the end word of all of your studio, I'm telling you, I could see where people could get allured into that, where they think their idea is better than everybody's idea, no matter what it is.
Some of the biggest flops are not because of the artists. I mean,
agreed.
Look at Blair Witch 2. The original idea was not bad.
It wasn't.
They actually, the filmmakers have released a way to make their own director's cut, which is not bad. Crow 2 is another one. I like it the way it is, but it was originally a much different movie. But then the studio's like, it needs to be more like the first one. There's so many movies like this, and I'm glad that Scream survived. And I think it's to the strength of Wes Craven and Kevin Williams' credit. Yep. But unfortunately, especially people who are newer into the game, it's really hard for them to make their voice heard.
It is. And and to your point, it's a real testament of those first 4 Scream films, knowing all the production issues that were happening on these films. It adds a whole other level of respect to me for how good those movies are. Because if you had had a lesser director than Wes on some of those movies, they would have been disasters. They would not be ones we still look back fondly on and love. They would have been train wrecks, man.
Look at what Rob Zombie went through with Halloween. He was like, fuck no, never doing that again. Because he hated it. He said it was a miserable experience working with the Weinsteins. The fact that Wes Craven chugged through, even when the Weinsteins were making it unbearable. Like, I am sad that he said he felt like Scream 4 wasn't his movie. That makes me really sad, because I love Scream 4, but it's like, if there was a more Wes Craven version of it, I would like to see that.
Me too. And Cursed. Remember Cursed in 2005? The Weinsteins made him reshoot the film after a year. It was like 3/4 done with Skeet Ulrich. The Weinsteins said, no, recast it, start over. He had to film a second, almost basically 2 movies to get that thing put out.
They made him refilm half of Deadly Friend, and I hope that
footage
is still out there. I was bummed that the Scream Factory edition didn't have it restored, but you can see some of it on the back of the VHS box, and I'm just like, that's so frustrating.
And it's like I've mentioned this before on the channel. It's like Wes, even with all of his brilliance, he was plagued with poor studio support, and so many of his movies, they interfered with it. And even with Shocker, the guy who was supposed to do all these amazing special effects, he had it all set up. They were filming. The guy was like, "Okay, where's my? Well, I need to see the effects. I need to see your work." And he's like, "Oh, I'm working on it." And he kept putting it off and putting it off. Finally, they got to the point where he says, "I'm at a deadline. I need the stuff." The guy didn't do anything. The company he hired, they didn't have. So he had to scramble and find a new company under strict crazy deadlines to get all those special effects and Shocker done. And they're good. I like Shocker. We were talking about it earlier. I love Shocker. It's a favorite. But even that movie's not what it was going to be in Wes's mind.
He is a big deal director. I don't know. You know this. He wasn't going to do Scream. He turned it down because he was done doing movies where I terrorize young girls. He was done. He felt like he had done that too much, and that he almost felt like it was like kind of sexist. And then it was Drew Barrymore getting hired, where originally she was going to be the lead, and he's like, "Okay, if Drew's in it, I'll do it." And then she calls in. She's like, "Yeah, I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff, but I've got an idea. I'll just do the opening kill." And he's like, "The fuck you are! I did this because you're in it." It all worked out great.
Worked out perfectly. And then Nev, I mean, my gosh, Nev Campbell she is Sidney Prescott. I mean, she's just so good in that role, and all of her emotions. And we'll talk about this a little bit later about how Sam Carpenter and Borissa Barrera, she's no Nev Campbell. And so we'll get into some of that. And no one.
We need to change that. It's not. But she's no Sharon Stone. She's no
right.
Nev Campbell.
Yeah, that's right. I think we should. She's no Nev Campbell. All right, let me see here. Back to the super real quick. That was awesome. Got some more super chats. We got oh my goodness, Christopher Dunn with a 50 burger super chat. Christopher, that is incredible, man. Awesome. Seriously, that is so generous. My word, thank you for the Stu train, man. That's what I'm talking about. Stu, let's go. Let's get it up. Wow, that is awesome. Thank you, Christopher. Really, man. Wow, I'm blown away by your generosity. Thank you, man. What else? Oh, we got Bob Hunt with a super chat, a $20 super chat. Wow, thank you, Bob. That's so generous. Stu Train, where we have everything Stu all the time. Hashtag Stu lives. Stu killed Dewey. Yes, he did. We'll talk about that with Gory in a little bit. Hashtag Amber lied. Exactly. That Stu actually was the killer of Dewey in Scream 5. And I got a whole theory, Gory, I'm going to pick your brain about with that because I believe Stu is heavily involved in the acts of Scream 5. And so we'll chat about that, and we're going to get there. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. It's always good to see you. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I was watching Fate today, and he's very not the Stu train, so this is kind of nice because I'm on the Stu train.
Listen, Fate and I, we have had battle royales on the Lethal Collective over Stu, and I'm convinced that Gory, I'm convinced that the day's going to come that we, as a family here on Craven Something Scary, all of us on the Stu train, we will convince Fate. The day will one day come. He swears it won't. And I said, well, dude, when the day comes and he shows up on camera, and you better watch out because that train is going to come through your front door, and we're going to park in your house, and we're going to stay there a while.
Well, he kind of has his own Randy train, so you know how you can link parts of the train to another train,
right?
I think he just needs to join the train with his Randy train, and
absolutely. Why not? I mean, it doesn't have to be one or the other. The Stu train just makes a lot of sense, and we're gonna get there. But yeah, Fate is really funny because Night's on the Stu train. I am the conductor of the Stu train. Stu. Killjoy Jake says he's on the caboose.
I'm in the caboose.
And you're in the caboose. So see, there you go. You guys are hanging out there. You're on the train, though.
Because I snuck aboard.
I love it. You're a stowaway. You're welcome on my train. You don't have to hide. Come on out.
And you guys were taking a pit stop, and I was like,
That's right. Let's see here. I got Jason. Jason with another $10. The $10 super chat. Hey, Jason. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, Gory B movie, thank you for the Matthew Lillard story. I want Stu in Scream 6 because he's my favorite character in Scream. But more important, I hope that it jumpstarts his career again. Amazing actor. Well said, man. 100% agree.
And something else he talked about, when he, which I liked, he was very transparent.
Hmm.
But one of the things he talked about, was saying that a lot of studios will hire you based on like your Instagram or Twitter followers. So if you're a Matthew Lillard fan and you are not following him on Twitter, that's something that you can do to support him and hopefully get him some more work.
That is a very true story. And you know what? Who else told me that same thing? Was I interviewed Mike Vaughn about 3 weeks ago, who was the voice of Brandon James on the Screen TV series, season 1 and 2. And he hung out for a couple hours. He told me the same thing. He said that the way that he gets chosen over a lot of other people, or in the or way that people get chosen over others, I should say, is based on their social followers on Twitter and Instagram. Like that's a thing now. That's actually a measurement of criteria when they're evaluating actors. I'm like, are you kidding
Not
me?
even just actors. I have a cousin. My cousin is a screenwriter. He is the screenwriter of Hellfest and Leatherface. And he
Okay.
also wrote and co-created Light as a Feather.
Wow.
Anyway, he originally wanted to be a novelist and he was trying to get a book published. And basically, he got turned down by a lot of places because he had no social media following. So it's not
Man,
even just movies. But obviously, he's talented because he's made movies. So it's just like, it's weird.
it's so strange. It just seems so like why would that even be a why does that even need to be a thing, man? Because you want actors who can perform the roles you want them to do, and their following does not. I know it's up there saying it's a popularity contest. I get all that, but at the end of the day, that does not make a person better or more qualified, I should say, than another. That has nothing to do with their talent level.
Doesn't. I
It's
think they're
ridiculous.
looking at it as easy marketing,
It
which I
is.
think is kind of a cheap shot. I mean, if you want
Yep.
people to see your movie, make a good movie.
Exactly. The novel concept, folks. Make a good movie.
Here
People will
I
actually.
am blowing
I'm
money
telling you,
right now.
you're full of amazing facts. I'm telling you. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Let's see, Bob with another $20 super chat. Buddy, thank you, Bob. Bob says fate is scared, always calling us a cult, but we aren't a cult. We're a true family on a train. That's right. He tries to say that my channel, I lead the Stu cult, is what he calls us over here. And it's not a cult, it is a train of believers who know the truth, man. And we're just trying to enlighten him. We're trying to bring him into the circle of
Actually, I
knowledge.
was thinking we should start going door to door and being like, "Have you heard the good word about Stu?"
We should. Knock, knock. Man, I'll tell you what would be absolutely hilarious, Gory, is if everyone here who's on the stew train, which is a great large portion of the folks that are here with my family and the community, and you and I get a bunch of other folks, and we just go crash a live stream on Fate's live stream and just tell them about. We just hit him with stew every hashtag. We just hit him with like. Surrender to stew, hashtag
Oh, I don't
surrender.
know if I could bust into his house and do that. I
I
respect
don't know.
it.
Here,
I'll,
I'll take the heat for it. I'll take the heat for it, though.
okay.
It's all right. It's okay.
I'll just be like that one in the background who's just like,
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
all.
That's right. I
I
love it.
actually have one more story for you just because you guys love Matthew Lillard. Something else
Yes.
I really liked about him, which has even nothing to do with me. When I was waiting for the interview, there's a long line of people. You have to wait for the previous interview to get done and them to release those people. But he just walks up, totally normal. And yeah, he's standing there waiting to get in too. And he just turns to the guy next to him, just some random guy. And he's like, "Hey, man, what's your name?" And the guy tells him, he's like, "Hey, I'm Matt." It's like, the fact that the other thing about my story, when he gave my son the gift, I forgot to mention, he asked my son's permission, not my permission or anything. He said, "Is it okay if I give you something?" He didn't just assume because he's a celebrity that my son would be like, "Yes." He asked his permission. Like, he's very
Wow.
respectful.
That's
Yeah, like
awesome.
when he met that guy, he introduced himself. He didn't go in with a big head being like, "Well, obviously I'm Matthew Lillard." Like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
really like him. He's a cool cat.
that is so awesome. I love to hear that. One of these days, I don't know when it's going to be, but mark it down. One day, I will find a way, and as I'm venturing my channel into new areas now, where I'm doing interviews of writers, actors, I will. There'll come a day where Matthew Lillard will appear on my channel. It's going to happen. I'm speaking it into
I
existence.
believe in you.
I believe I can fly. It's going to happen at some. I don't know when. It can be 20
If
years from
you
now, but it's going to
build it,
happen.
he will come.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you Wayne's World advice. I want you to, when you're done here, make a thumbnail with him on it. If you build it, he will
Ooh, I
come.
love that. I love that visual. Just had the
Mhm.
thumbnail looking at it. It says like it's my fuel in the train. Fuel in the train. I love that. That's a good idea, Gory. Because you know what? It's going to happen. I don't know when, but one day I will make that announcement at some point in the future, and
I believe in you.
that will be the channel will likely melt down. I will likely melt down. Let me just tell you, I was having a hard time keeping my fanboy in check with Maureen Prescott, with Lynn McCree. That was hard to do.
And he hangs out a lot with Skeet Ulrich and Jamie Kennedy. They do a lot of conventions together. Though I didn't get to meet Skeet Ulrich and Jamie Kennedy at Crypticon, where I met Matthew Lillard, but they do hang out a lot. And Jamie Kennedy does have a YouTube channel. So if you get to
He
meet
does.
one of them, that's kind of a way you might be able to meet Matthew Lillard.
That's a good point, and that's absolutely. I mean, it would be great to have any of those guys. Yeah, it would be so. Would be such an honor. You know, I mean, I'm honored to have any of these folks who come on the channel. It really is an honor, and so I love all of them. I mean, all from Nancy Ann Ritter, who's just a gem. You know, the girl in
That
the
was a great
bathroom.
stream.
Oh, thank you. And in fact, her and I were talking earlier today, and she's going to be coming back in May to watch Scream 5, a Scream 5 watch party. She's going to watch it with me on live stream. So she's never seen the movie. It's going to be her first time to watch it. So anyway, that's coming
Wow.
up. Yeah, I'm just kind of breaking the news. She just confirmed that this afternoon. So
She was delightful.
yes, she's so awesome, just so sweet.
And I
And
added her on as a friend on Facebook too. I was just like, hey,
yeah,
if you need help with your channel, whatever, let me know.
yeah,
I'd happily help you for free because I'm a fan.
absolutely. Same, right? Same here. And so I'm very excited, and I also was communicating with Lynn McCree again yesterday and today, and she has confirmed. And this is hot. This is a hot take for everybody on the live stream. You're hearing this first because I've not shared this yet on any video or anything else. But she's returning to the channel on the 30th. I think it's the 30th of April. It's what is that? 4 weeks from today. 4 weeks from today, last Saturday of the month, she's coming back to the channel, and we are going to watch in its entirety Scream 3 together with Maureen Prescott live on the channel.
Cool.
So stay tuned. I'll be making a lot of big stuff about it coming up, but that's coming up. So Gory, if you can, I hope you can join us for this. It's going to be a fun night. We're just going to have a good time with watching it with Lynn. Haunted by Horror with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
He's the best, guys. He has his own channel. Great production design, great thoughts, great takes on movies. Definitely check him out. He's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And thank you for the super chat. I want Stu in Red Right Hand. Oh, yeah. So Red Right Hand, Gory, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that yet, but that's Killjoy Jake's new fan film. And he just got funded on Kickstarter. So we were able to see him reach his goal. And he's gonna start filming soon. And I would love to see it too, Haunted. I would love to see Stu. And the only thing that Jake has said is he doesn't want to make it a spoiler or anything. So, but he has shared that there's going to be something around Stu in the movie. We don't know what that's going to be. So,
That's exciting.
I can't wait. He said he told me I specifically put this in for you, Steven.
And if you want some behind the scenes of Scream 5 with Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy did a whole series on behind the scenes of movies he's in, like how he got cast, is I think what they're called. But yeah, I guess he talked about how he went to eat with Skeet and Matthew Lillard, and they're like, hey dude, did you get a call? He's like, I don't want to hear anything. I haven't heard, because he didn't want spoilers, but he was like, they were like super excited because, obviously they were involved in others. I mean, if you've seen the credits, Matthew Lillard was the Ghostface in the Stab movie. And then you also hear his voice at the party, and you hear, obviously Skeet's in it, and they ended up getting Randy for the party. And Jamie Kennedy also talked about how like they chose the photo that's actually his prom photo that they used for the memorial because they needed something that was personal and that belonged to him.
That's right. Yes.
Really cool.
It's so cool. I love all that whole live stream that he did. Not live stream, but I don't know if it was live stream or not. But it was on his channel, YouTube channel, where he talked about how he, got cast and the whole thing about radio silence and how much it means to them. Anyway, it was such a really cool stream. I thought it
He
was
was
so neat to
tearing
hear
up.
that.
He was genuinely moved by how respectful they were.
He really was. He teared up. And Christopher says, Maureen watching Scream 3 is meta. Yeah, it is. It's going to be super meta watching Scream 3 with Lynn McCree. I can't wait for her scene, the nightmare scene. Like, watching it live with us. It's going to be so great. Sorry, I saw that.
You know what?
I had to throw that up.
I watch the Scream series at least once a year because I love it. But I noticed something this last time, which I know I'm going to sound really stupid because you guys have probably already thought of this. But I've always taken Sydney seeing Maureen, seeing her mom when she's hiding out. I've always taken it as like her dealing with her PTSD, and I think that movie's really underrated. I think that movie is the perfect conclusion to like her emotional arc, dealing with the things that happened in her past. And after that, she's a lot stronger. I feel like she's untouchable. You cannot break her down. But Scream 3 had to exist for her to get there. But then I was watching it and I realized they could have been inducing those using the voice changer. I hadn't even thought about that before. I thought it was just her PTSD, but when she's out there, when she's hearing her mom's voice, it could have been Roman using the voice changer to initiate that state for her, like just like how they did with the house.
Yes, I believe that's what it was. I think it was actually the voice changer that Maureen's voice was captured in somehow, and that's why when he calls her up and she whenever she's like, don't you know your mother, when she calls her on the phone and then she hears her on the set, whenever the ghost face is underneath a sheet, and she's talking in the mother's voice, and I believe that was generated from the voice changer. That's my thoughts.
I figured those always were, but I was like at her house. The only thing I think is that he didn't know where she lived, but then maybe he had out. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, it certainly is, because that whole sequence was done really well. I thought it did really show us how the struggle she's having, of all the trauma that she's dealing with from all of these events. And the fact that she had a gun, I was like, she even had a gun in her drawer, which I thought was great.
Of course I have a gun.
Of course I have a gun. That's right.
But my other thought, too, is maybe it wasn't the voice changer. Maybe they're establishing that she has PTSD. She's dealing with like survivor's guilt. She's dealing with, her finding out some stuff about her mom she didn't know. And so she was already having hallucinations. And that puts her in a prime position to be a victim to Roman and this, device he has.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, I mean, to me, that makes total sense. I mean, they both make sense to me. I think it absolutely, and because it really was all leading up to that crescendo at the end, and we get Roman, and then of course, we have Angelina, who I'm not sure if you've heard my theory on that, but I'm real vocal about Angelina being the second killer in Scream 3, and that we only got one reveal, but there were absolutely two killers, and the way Wes Craven shot that movie makes it very, very apparent that there's two people, because Roman would have to physically teleport, and he would have to break down like Star Trek where they beam me up Scotty, because it's physically impossible to be here and then here and like 2 seconds later. It just doesn't make sense.
And they changed it so much. I mean, they make a joke about it in the movie, but they also make a joke because, I mean, originally, like, Stu was originally orchestrating.
That's right.
But they also went through numerous rewrites where they changed the killers. So at one point, there's a joke in the movie about how she's like, Jennifer Jolie makes a joke how she can't die because she's supposed to be the killer. At one point, Gail was going to be the killer.
Right.
They changed it so much. So I feel like when you watch the movie, it's like, I like that they did something different with one killer, but it's really hard to believe that it was one when you watch the film and you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And Wes would not make that kind of a blunder in filming. There's just no way, because Wes's whole idea was to have Angelina was the killer. That was the script that was presented after the Stu thing. They had to shelve for Columbine, and then the Weinsteins were like, we don't want, Of course, I'm talking like Harvey. You don't need to do that. But he was like, no, we don't want Angelina to be the killer, revealed as the killer on here. Change that. And so Wes changed it. but he didn't change. He didn't change the movie. So he said, "I no no." He made. I call it rebel filmmaking on here a lot. I call it rebel filmmaking, like basically Wes Craven's ultimate middle finger to the Weinsteins, because he made that movie exactly the way he wanted to make it. He just didn't show her taking off a mask. Instead, he shows her getting either killed, she could have died, I admit, or it was a fake out death, which is why we see the body drug away, which Roman did not do that to anybody else.
Speaking of rebel filmmaking, he did that with the first movie. They did not like the mask. He found the mask
Yep.
when they were at location scanning, and he's like, "This is the mask."
That's
And
right.
they were like, "That's not scary. That's not the mask." He's like, "No, this is the mask." And they're like, "No, it's not." He went ahead and filmed the opening anyway. He's like, "Well, it's worst case scenario. I can do it again." But he's like, "I think if they just see it,
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yeah, that's the mask. We're sorry."
Absolutely, that was right. They had to take the dailies, and they went and showed it. And he said him and Patrick, his editor Patrick Lussier, him and Patrick put together real quick that little opening sequence and everything, and showed it to the Weinsteins. They're like, "Okay, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, go make your movie." And, and now it's like it's perfect because it was. I think it's a great mask. I love it.
I love all of them. I know there's a lot of fans who are like, "Well, I like them all but 3, or I like them all but 4. I love them all. And even though he dealt with a lot of stuff, I feel like Wes Craven did a fantastic job of putting his stamp on all those movies.
Yep.
And I think they're all terrific. Yeah, there's things I would tweak. There's things I would tweak. And I honestly believe that those things I would tweak were not Wes Craven's fault.
Right.
I like Scream 3 a lot. I think it's got a lot of heart. My biggest complaint with that one is I think Sydney should have met Roman before the reveal. You know? I think that would have been impactful because 1, he's her brother. But 2, he takes out the mask and she's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, she doesn't know. And that's really the only thing I would change. Beyond that, I think I'd get rid of Jay and Silent Bob. But beyond that,
love Jay and Silent Bob. Look, hey, look, it's Connie effing Chung.
Like Scream 4, I love Scream 4. I don't know why people shit on that movie so much.
Oh, I can't stand it. I don't know why they do either. I love it. And again, this is another one. I go back to I blame the studio. The marketing was, at least where I was at, the marketing was terrible for that movie. I didn't even realize it was out until it was in theaters, already out like for a couple of weeks. And then I said, "What happened to this? There's a Scream 4? What are you talking about,
They didn't market that one well at all.
No, terrible. I even said, like, if they had marketed that movie the way Spyglass and Paramount did for 5, I think 4 would have been an epic success. Wes would have gotten a new trilogy, which is what it was supposed to have been. And I really blame the studio for that movie's failure. I do. Not a failure, but, lack of success over a lot of success.
But that's not the only movie that's been poorly marketed. I will say 2 got a lot of great marketing. They had a music video. They had a lot of interviews on MTV. Really marketed the fuck out of that. If you watched MTV, you were going to be told about Scream 2 all fucking day. That's because Scream was such a big deal. Scream was in the cinema for about half a year.
Yep.
But Scream, before it came out in December, the way I found out about it, because I saw Scream at the theater, the way I found about it was reading Fangoria. I don't remember any trailers or anything until after it was released.
Yes.
I don't remember anything on TV. I read Fangoria, and I remember telling my friends, I was like, "This is really exciting. Like, this is going to be a good one. This is going to bring back slashers." And a lot of my friends were like, "We're so tired of you talking about Jason and other slashers." No, this is going to be different. And I got some of my friends to go with me because I was really excited for it because I'd read all the stuff in Fangoria, and I'm like, this is going to be great. But yeah, there weren't a lot of trailers and stuff. And then it was through word of mouth because its initial couple weeks were poor. It wasn't until word of mouth got going and people heard about it, then it became a massive success. It's one of the few movies that actually went up in the box office after.
Yes.
That doesn't happen often.
It does not. Normally it starts dropping by X amount of percentages every week over week over week. And it picked up steam. And it was like, whoa, it was growing stronger, which was, like you say, it was totally opposite what you would expect to happen. Unheard of. And so it was, and it just, word of mouth spread like wildfire for Scream 1 and turned that thing into 170, 172, 173.
Highest box office performance of any slasher movie. And last I checked, Scream 2 was number 2.
Yeah, it was, because Scream 2 was it was like 1 million less. It was dead even. It was like 173, 172 for Scream 2. And Scream 3, it still hit at, what was it, Was
It
it
did decent.
160, 140, 50, somewhere in there? It was a little bit less, but not much.
But yeah, Scream 4, I mean, it was so ahead of its time. It did so many things ahead of its time. I think it's so interesting that in Scream 4 at the very beginning they talk about catfishing, but the term hadn't been invented yet. So she's like
Mm-hmm.
punked because catfishing wasn't a thing. Like it was ahead of its
That's
time.
true.
It
That's
talked about
right.
streaming, and Nev's like, "What is that?"
Hmm.
Pretty much like how I would have been at the time because
Yeah.
I'm of that generation. But yeah, streaming was a thing, but the idea of streaming all the time, streaming from your phone, stream like how it is now, was not a thing. That movie was ahead of its time. Even Scream 3 was ahead of its time. And the way, and I can't believe this got past the Weinsteins, but they talked about sexual violence in Hollywood. I'm just like,
Yes.
did they miss that note? Did they not see that page? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, dude.
I'm telling you, the whole ending of the whole Scream 3 with Milton, that was like that was actually happening with Harvey. That we didn't even know it at the time.
No.
It was a parallel in real life Harvey Weinstein, and it was his studio that put the movie
I
out.
will say from all of the Scream interviews I've watched, and it's one of my favorite franchises. Won't tell you what my favorite is because you'll be upset. But
Oh no, I doubt that.
nobody likes my favorite, but oh well. Um, I totally lost my train of thought. But no, all the interviews and stuff, all the special features I watch, it's always Bob. I've never seen
Hmm.
Harvey on a Scream featurette. So I think the reason it slipped by is primarily they were dealing with Bob.
Hmm.
But I could
That's a
be
good
wrong.
point.
That's what I think.
Ah, it's a very good point. Um, Christopher says, "Thank you, Christopher, with a $2 super chat. Thank you, man. Do you think 100% Cotton was canceled? I
How
do.
much would you love it if you started a YouTube channel called 100% Cotton?
Oh, that's a good
How much would you love
idea.
that?
That's
I'm
a really good
sorry, I'm
idea.
shouting. I'm shouting. I get excited, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, feel free. Let it rip. I think that's a great idea. I need to look and see. I'll have to look and see. Because another one I've thought about starting is 261 Turner Lane, which is Stu Macher's address. And I'm like, what better for me to do like a stew channel where it's just, of course, but pretty much this is a stew channel.
It's a stew
Yeah,
channel.
this is a stew channel. So that's why I was like, no, but like 261 Turner Lane would be a really fun title for me channel name. But yeah, this is,
No, 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 no. I got you. I got you. You just need to change the title of this one. Craven some stew scary or something like that. That's what you
there you
already
go.
have.
Maybe, yeah, I'll
Craven
add,
some stew scary. It doesn't roll off the tongue, but you can workshop it.
got to work with, yeah, massage it a little bit there.
Craven some
Yeah.
stew. Oh yeah, because stew's a food. Stew's a food. Craven
Craving
some
some
stew.
stew.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know, man. I tell you, there's something there.
Stew. And then you could like stream with like screaming soup, and they'd be serving soup, and you'd be serving stew.
Oh my gosh,
I love
what's
it
happening?
so
That's
much.
awesome.
I got you,
Uh,
dude. I got your marketing right here.
you do. I love it, man. I know who to call. I know exactly who to call now moving forward.
I got
All
you.
right. So let's talk about Gory. How about this? That's great.
We're
I
like
love
an
it.
hour in. We haven't talked about Scream 6.
I know. No, you know what? That's how this stuff usually goes. And you know what I always say to that, Gory? I was like, when this stuff happens and we're having such a good time, we hadn't even got to on topic. That just means we have to have a part two down soon. That's all.
I
That just
think
means part
so.
two and maybe even part three at some point.
But I want to be in the sequel.
Yes, and I want you in this sequel. I love it. Necessary distraction. Thank you, necessary, with a $2 super chat. I messaged Matthew and told him about your channel. Thank you.
That's
Ooh, I
cool.
love that. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. And Carrie Crave Cinema, who's I don't think she's in the chat tonight yet, but she put on her Twitter feed. She posted something to Matthew Lillard and was saying something how she really wishes he would come on my channel and tagged me on it. And I thought that was very sweet and very nice. And
Awesome.
so necessary, thank you for that. And anyone else who wants to go, Matthew's on Twitter. And so
Maybe
if
I'll
you
get my
want to,
son to ask him. He adores my son.
you should. There you go. That man. See, that may be right there the connection that
He
helps it all
does really
happen.
like kids. I've seen on his Instagram
Yeah.
and his Twitter and stuff, like he has a special soft spot for fans of his that are kids. Because he's a dad.
Of course, and I love that. And what's nice is he doesn't forget that. When he's when the spotlight's on, he still is who he is. Like that. Some people would just kind of like
Great.
isolate that and box it up, and like that's not a real part of them anymore. But it is, and he's transparent like that. Transparent. You see what I said? See what I did there? He's transparent with everyone. He's a parent. Oh, come on. He's a parent. Yeah, see?
Dad jokes in the house.
I always tell everyone, I will always be, you can count on me for the most worst dad jokes. I will go all day. I can do them all day long.
We
I
need to
can go.
have Danny on here. Danny is the
I,
dad joke
sh-
king.
I
want to
should
hear
actually
the
have
show
Danny.
go.
You know what I should do? Is I should have invite Danny and you both together at the same time. How would you think about? What would you feel about
That
that?
would be awesome. He abandoned me tonight to go watch Spawn at the time capsule, but normally he'd be down.
That's awesome. That's something that we should talk about offline. I think that's something we should do for sure. Necessary says all the Cravenites should also message him. Yes, maybe we can all work to get him here. So I love this. So the Cravenites, I got just real quick. I got to tell a little story about where this Cravenites has come from. So this past Thursday night, a couple nights ago, I had my first ever members only live stream. So only members could attend it. It's one of the perks of being a channel member, and it supports the channel monthly. And so during this conversation on Thursday night, we had a discussion, and someone in the chat said we should have a name, a special name that identifies us. Because, channel members is kind of boring. It's kind of universal, kind of generic. And so during this discussion, at the end of the day, I'll speed the story up for you, Gory, so it's not too boring for
I'm
you.
not bored.
But at the end of the day, we settled on the name Cravenites. And so if you are a Cravenite, that means you are a channel supporter, you are here, and you're in the inner circle of the family. That's the Cravenite. And so it just kind of, now you see Necessary is kind of taking that, and that's what that means. So I just wanted to mention that because that's the first time this terminology has been used in a live stream. So that's what a Cravenite is. So
You fared better than me. My chat has referred to themselves as the Gory hole.
oh no, that's
But I tell a
awesome.
lot of people, and they're like, "Say again."
Yeah, I bet.
We also have a Facebook group too, but yeah, my channel supporters on Patreon, they are the B Movie Kevin, so they're
Hey,
special tribe of mine.
I think that's awesome. I love that. Gory Bit says, "Hey, y'all, just wanted to pop in and say hello. What's up,
That's my
Gory
gory
Bits?
brother from another mother.
Nice.
All of us gories, we all know each other. We're all friends.
I
We're
was-
all loosely related. We actually have a family reunion once a year. Gory Bits is like married to a cousin of mine through marriage, but yeah, we're all related. We all know each other.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool.
True story.
Well, appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. I appreciate that very much. We're having a good time talking all kinds of stuff. Scream. We ain't got to Scream 6, and we're having a great time talking about all kinds of stuff. And speaking of that, Gory, this is before we get into 6. Maybe this is the time that we talk about our first time experiences, because you and I share something in common with Scream franchise, is that the two of us, and guys in the chat, this is pretty exciting because Gory and I both have seen each Scream film in the theaters.
Every single one.
Every single one. That is like, take that, man.
Y'all getting your diapers changed. Mama's
Yeah.
packing you lunch. You know what
Yep.
I was doing? I was seeing Scream at the movie theater.
Straight up.
What?
Straight
I
up.
think that seems so aggressive. I'm just really proud of it.
I love it. It's something to be proud of because really that's because there are so many people that have only seen maybe 4, or some got in on 3, and some have seen none except 5 in a theater. And
you know what? Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something. So sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but my son
No.
is 17, lols on Horror Addicts, and his buddy came over, and I had just bought Scream 5. And he was super excited. He's like, "Oh, we need to watch that. I love Scream 4." I'm like, "Thank you. This kid knows what's up." He's like, "But I don't like Scream 1." And I'm like, "This kid does not know what's up. What did you say in my house? What did you say in my house?"
I
And
love
he was
it.
just like, "It's kind of predictable." I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no." And so I sat him down. I'm like, "This is the whole history of how Scream changed horror history. I was like, no,
Right.
you are not allowed to watch Scream 5 until you watch Scream 1 with me and I make you appreciate it. And then he was like, okay, it is better than I thought it was. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it was. But
Heck yeah. Show some respect, man.
I mean, that language in my house, like, I know you're almost an adult, but son, you are not an adult.
That's right. You gotta know your place, don't you? Know, you get you back in
Mm-hmm.
line. You check
Yep.
back in
Son's
because
so sassy.
that's so cool. And what an experience. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's kind of go back to the beginning. And on Scream 1, do you remember that experience? Kind of walk me through. What was it like for you? Did you see it opening weekend? Did you see it later? Whatever. Tell me your experience at the first
I
time.
saw it the day it opened because I was
Oh
so
wow.
excited. I can't remember when the first I heard about it was in Fangoria. And my favorite actress at the time was Drew Barrymore. So that was initially why I was super marking out for it because I love Drew Barrymore. Then my favorite director was Wes Craven. So I'm like, okay, two of my favorite things in one. And then the more I read about it, like how it was kind of doing a different slasher thing, because I was still loving slashers. A lot of them were going direct to DVD, direct to VHS. A lot of them were performing poorly at the cinema, but I still saw like Jason Goes to Hell in theater and stuff. But I did understand that they for mainstream audiences was not a thing. And the buzz, like, Fangoria and stuff was that this was gonna change things. It was gonna be different.
Wow.
And when I started looking into, I found a trailer and stuff, and then you look at you're like, this is gonna be different. I mean, obviously Scream wasn't the first one that did meta humor, but it's the first one that popularized it.
Yep.
And so it was really exciting that this was happening and then Wes Craven was going to be involved. So I was absolutely like day one. I remember it was December. It was really close to Christmas. We were on school break and my buddy I was in debate club because I was a nerd. And my friends were kind of dicks because my friends didn't like a lot of horror movies. So like I had one friend, I remember Interview with the Vampire came out. Every time she made me go see Stargate, I'm like, fine, we're going to go see Interview with the Vampire again. I mean, not that I hated Stargate, but it was really hard to get my friends to go see slasher movies.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what the deal was for that one, but I know I had to go watch some bullshit action movie or something to get him to go see Scream with me. But I remember it was just us. I know his older brother like went to, but yeah, I remember initially I kind of had to drag him in, and then he was laughing. He jumped a couple times, and it was so fun because a lot of my friends, it's not like now where I have this whole community of people online to share horror with. I
Hmm.
had no friends that liked horror. And it was a rare time I got to share my love of horror with somebody else. Like I'm like, okay, I'm excited because you're getting it. You get it. You're having
Yeah.
fun too. And then he came out and he was like, "Wow, that one part." And I'm like, "Yeah." And it just felt so good. It felt like the sense of belonging because for once the mainstream, like other people got it. And it's like it just felt really good. And it was exciting to see it be reinvigorated, you know?
Yes, totally. It was like shot in the arm, and then all of a sudden, all we started getting all of these movies that were trying to be Scream. They just started coming out of the woodwork, right? I mean, the list goes on and on. Now, one of the better ones was Urban Legend, which I thought was that
And
was probably my favorite post Scream non Scream movie of that era. Urban Legend. And you had Cry Wolf, Cherry Falls. You had I Know What You Did Last Summers. You had, I mean, there's more that I've forgotten already that they were.
fairness to I Know What You Did Last Summer, he did write that before Scream.
He did. That is true. But the fact that
And I
it
love
was
that.
on this, it was a good movie. The first one was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I don't think any of them can really hold a candle to Scream, but I
No.
personally really I was a teenager at the time, so those
Hmm.
movies were marketed towards teenagers and I loved it. I loved movies that had a kick-ass soundtrack that I would go buy immediately because it was awesome. I loved
Yeah.
movies that had, a lot of the actors and stuff I liked. I love that whole era. It was a different kind of thing. These movies were geared specifically towards teenagers, and being a teenager at the time, it was really fun. The Craft is probably my favorite movie. My favorite
Okay.
movie. I love The Craft. I love I Know What You Did This Summer. Scream, obviously, I think it's obviously Scream's a 5-star movie. It's a masterpiece.
Yes. It's a
I'm not gonna say I
masterpiece.
Know What You Did Last Summer is a masterpiece, but like The Faculty, all
Right.
those movies, they are still great movies.
Agreed. Agreed. They're not that level for me either, but they're really good. The Faculty was a lot of fun. That was like a
Love the faculty.
sci-fi alien
It's
meets.
the scream of sci-fi.
It's like Scream of Sci-Fi. Yeah, there you go. It's a fun movie. That's one I haven't seen in a long time. I would like to see again. I really that was really good. It doesn't get talked about a whole lot either, in in circles I'm running in at
What was
least.
different about that era is what separated, and the 90s gets shit on a lot, and I think that's
Right.
unfair. I
I
love
do
the
too.
80s too. I love the 70s. I love all of it. They're all like part of this big family, and I don't want to pick on any single one because they all bring something to the table.
They
But
do.
what I loved about the 90s that had not been done before is all of a sudden the teenagers were smart. Not just in
Yeah.
Scream, where they knew the rules of horror movies, but the teenagers were smart. They would discuss the things that would normally be left out as a plot hole. They would acknowledge things that were dangerous. A lot of times they would know that they were going to do something stupid, but they would at least be like, shit, it's my only choice.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
acknowledged this stuff, and the faculty, they figure that stuff out. They're not stupid. And
That's
I
right.
really liked how savvy the teenagers of the 90s horror movies were.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to see thinking teens for a change that because we're used to so many of the especially the older movies, and I love the 80s B horror movies. Now, I know again this is and I know that you're all about it, you love it. And I love it. But some of those, let's face it, those early slashers, the ones that were post Halloween 78, which kind of really started it, that and Friday the 13th, and then everything just comes after that. And some of them much lower budget films too, that weren't very mainstream, but they just weren't always the most intelligent characters, let's just be honest. And a lot of them were not. And but that's what the
On the
80s
whole,
slasher was.
not always intelligent.
No, no. But again, it's part of the charm now. Looking back on him, it's like I expect that. I expect him to make dumb decisions. That's what the whole tropes is built upon. Some of the things that Scream talks about, the rules of horror, that's based on these original
I like to think
movies.
of the 90s teens as the younger siblings or children of the previous generations. It's like they've
Yeah,
learned from their lessons.
that's
You
right.
know, those
Exactly.
previous generations had to go through it first. They didn't have anyone to teach them.
Nope, they did not. They got to watch their older brother or sister watch these movies, and they're taking notes. They're like, oh, they're taking notes on what they're seeing.
Sidney Prescott learned you don't let go of the weapon.
Yeah,
Love
that's
you,
right.
Lori, but sweetheart, hang on to the knife until you're safe.
Yes, don't just drop it. Don't drop it,
I love that
please.
she does it too. Like,
Yeah.
I've always taken it as she's not a violent person. She's trying to hang on to her humanity. And so
Yeah.
the moment she gets a chance to, she discards the weapon. But that's what separates her from Sydney. Sydney is a
Yes.
fighter, and she will not. And what's wonderful about her is having that fight in her never corrupts her. She is still a
No.
very good person. I think she is the definitive final girl. If you ask me, I know a lot of people
Hmm.
have Lori, and if that's your choice, absolutely, you are not wrong. I'm just saying this is mine.
Yeah. Yes, it's mine as well. I think she totally is. She's like that. That's when you talk about final girl horror. This is Sidney Prescott. This to me is royalty. She is. This is what it is. It's to where you're an overcomer. You're a fighter, and you don't let all of this stuff that's happening to you define you. You take it back. You take your life back from this. From these horrible things that want to make your life all about that, and you say no. I have to deal with it, but I'm not going to be about that. I'm going to still be who I am, but I'm going to be wiser, of course. But I'm going to stay who I am, and that's really what I see in Sydney. She's grown, she's matured, she's learned, but she's still a fighter. She's still victorious. She still has the power and control over her life. And even in five, like I love it when she's walking in Stu's house, and she's like, "Whoever you are, come out." You have 5 seconds, and she's just shooting before she even
Uh-huh.
opens the door.
She's
She's like,
burned. My
"Yeah,
favorite series of all time, my favorite TV show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And the quote in that I love is, it's bad things are going to happen to everybody. And it's not what happens to you. It's what you do afterwards that counts. That's
yes,
who you are. And so when you look at these final girls, it's not that they were attacked. That doesn't define them. That doesn't make them a victim. It's how they handle it afterwards. And Sidney Prescott never let it conquer her.
no, She never did. And I
And
love that. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish.
I
Go ahead.
will say, I liked five. Five, unpopular opinion. I liked it. I didn't love it. For me, it is the lowest of the series.
Okay.
And a big part of that, I think it would have worked better if Tara was the main character, because Sam, she has the fight, and I like that. I
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part with her was when she's finally just like, don't mess with a serial killer's daughter, because she's got that fight and she's putting it towards something good. What I
Yes.
didn't like about her is she doesn't have any of the vulnerability that Sydney had. We have
No.
one conversation where she talks about her backstory with Tara in the hospital. That is it. It was very underdeveloped. And I like to see Scream 5 as sort of, hopefully, like an Empire Strikes Back. It's basically saying, yes, yes, we've seen the movies, we acknowledge them too. You can trust us. I feel like this movie is trying to say, you can trust us. Look what we can do. And I'm hoping with the next movie, they're going to go more into their own territory, work on building up the characters that they've created a little bit more, because I feel like a lot of them really deserved a little bit more depth.
Agreed. Agreed. And the scene that, and I try to say this in a way that's not mean, because I don't mean it mean, but the scene where she does have that tries to be that vulnerable side with Tara, talking about the diary and reading about learning about her father and all this. I have a hard time really believing. I don't feel it, Gory. I don't
I
feel.
have a hard time too. Like, that's why I wanted Tara, because she didn't have to do anything like that.
Mhm.
Just the actress communicated vulnerability without her doing
Yes.
anything. She's just a
Nope.
very talented actress, just like Nev Campbell is very talented. I'm
Mhm.
not, no shame against Melissa Burr. I think she's good at a lot of things, but I think the one thing I want to see her work on in this next movie is showing vulnerability, showing
Yeah.
both sides. And there's a lot of actresses I love who have a hard time with other things. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's in my favorite TV show. She is terrible at, one, crying, and two, acting scared. But she
Hmm.
worked on it, and then there's a lot of movies where I'm like, oh wow, it's a craft. It's a
It
craft
is.
continually building, and I am rooting for them. I'm rooting for Melissa Barrera.
Me too.
I think she's got the chops. I 100% think she can do it. I just think maybe in Scream 5 wasn't quite her best.
Agreed. No, I think it. I believe that Tara really did outshine her every time they were together. I felt Tara, the one I'm looking at, the one I'm drawn to is not Melissa. It's Jenna. That's Tara's the one that I want, who I find myself believing and
Yeah.
feeling what she's doing and saying. I'm like, I buy it. I
And
believe it. Like Sydney, I
so
believe
invested.
Sydney. Yeah. And
And
Sam just, I'm sorry, I just didn't, it felt a little stiff when she's trying to cry. It looks like she's trying to make herself cry. It's like when you were a kid. And I know, and again, I'm not trying to pile on. I'm just saying I'm just telling you my honest feeling. When I watch it, it reminds me of like if you're a kid and you're trying to, trying to be sad or make you cry in front of your parents for something or whatever you're trying to, and you're just like,
I know, Patty, because you
and
were.
I'm sorry. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, Steven.
well, yeah, exactly. There you go. That was me. And there's no tears. But that I'm like, come on, Melissa, because every time I watch it, I've seen it 7 times now, and every time I rewatch it, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to go in with an open mind. Come on, Melissa. I want to I want to believe you this time, and it hasn't happened for me yet.
And you know what I think would have worked better? I like the character. I don't think she should have been in the main character, because what she's
Yes.
doing, the way she's acting, would have been perfect if she was a side character and Tara was the main one. Because they try to do this thing where they try to get Sam to think that maybe her sister's the killer, and it's so dumb.
Right.
Like,
Right.
nobody in the audience thought it was Tara.
Yeah.
Nobody. But can you imagine if it was flipped and someone was trying to tell Tara that it's Sam? You have every reason to think it could be Sam. She does seem stiff.
Yes.
She does seem fake. She does have no.
Yes.
She,
That's right.
you would be like, oh shit, it could be Sam. If you hadn't already, you would be
Hmm.
thinking it, and you would have every reason to be on board with Tara thinking it. Yeah, baby, I know it's your sister, but your sister crazy.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
She's seriously. I mean, she's seeing Billy friggin' Loomis. I mean, this is not healthy. This isn't not. She's not. There's some issues going on here, and this is her on medication.
Yes.
this is on antipsychotic meds, as Billy said
It
in the
is, like,
mirror.
God, that would have been so much more effective. You know, like
It would
it's just
agree.
it's just a few little things where I'm just like, I would have tweaked it here, I would have tweaked it here, but the Scream franchise as a whole is so good. That is why this is on the bottom. It's because there's not a bad movie in this franchise. For me, it's
It's
pretty
not.
neck and neck with Scream 3, which I
Hmm.
really think Scream 3 is underrated. It's barely
Yes.
above Scream 5 for me. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I like it. I
Hmm.
just don't love it. I
Exactly.
want
I
to see the
understand.
next one.
That makes total sense to me. I completely understand. And I one thing we share in common is our feeling on Melissa Brer in this movie, and also the one time, the only time. I hate to say the only that's so definitive, but pretty much. All right, I'll put it that way. Pretty much the only time that I can recall where I was actually feeling any emotion with her character specifically was when we get to this.
That's the part I'm talking. That's the part where I was like, yes, yes.
Yes,
I feel like that's the part she must have gotten hired for because she did that perfectly. Because I like that she's struggling with the silence
yes,
inside of her. And I think all of us feel that. All of us have this part of us that's angry and, as they say in Batman, wants to watch the world burn. You know, we have it to
that's
different
right.
degrees depending on how much you feed that part of you. But she has this part of her and she's afraid of it and she stuffed it
Hmm.
down. And finally, she sees an outlet where she can let that beast run. And it's so
It's
cool to
so
see.
satisfying.
I loved it. That was a part because I wanted to root for her. I wanted to.
Hmm.
I wanted to be on her side, and I just wasn't. And at that part, I was like, yes, yes, this is what I want. I was a lot of the movie. There are some parts of it where I'm like, ah, it's so close to being what I want, you know. And I know for a lot of you, it was what you want, and I'm
Hmm.
happy for you.
Yeah.
But that third act, I was with you. I was with you in that third act. I'm like, yes, yes, I'm having a good time. This is what I wanted. That third act, I thought was great.
Look at that shot, Gory.
Hold on, I got the chat over it.
Oh, look at that.
Like, that's cool. And see, I love that because I mean, I'm sure you know this, but the stunt double in part one, he goes to West and he says, "Yeah, the knife was bloody. Like we
Yeah,
can't go to the next one. There's a continuity error." And he's like, "I don't know, just go clean it off." And that
hmm,
iconic thing was just something discussed last minute, and it's become such a part of it. And obviously, that was Billy who did that. So I love that she's got that. I
it's
want
so
them to
great.
tweak the Billy stuff a little bit too, because a couple parts of it was just like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know about Force Ghost, Dad. I mean, I like a lot of it. A couple parts of it, I just don't want them to forget that he's a villain. A couple parts of
yeah,
it were a little verging on sappy. Don't forget that he's a villain.
yeah. He's the OG, him and Stu, man, the OG
Mhm.
ghost faces, and yeah, I just man, I tell you, and that's why I believe that like this kill of Richie was I think it was the hands down number one kill of the movie. It was the best of it was a better kill than any of the Ghostface killings, in my
I
opinion.
like Wes's kill. That was mine.
Wes
That,
okay,
oh
that
my
was really
god.
good.
That was
That was
I was just like, how are you doing this? But I
I
love the magic trick of special practical effects and
I know.
like that. Like I love that. Like the fact that I was looking at it and I've watched it repeatedly, I've slowed it down and I still can't tell where the CGI begins or the practical effects end. I still can't like that it's that good. I think
Yes.
it's pretty fucking impressive.
It's very very
Oh
impressive.
shit.
And
Oh,
oh, you're good. No, you're good. It was very impressive. And
I get one.
that's right. No, you're right. No, you're don't worry, don't sweat it. Um, but yeah, that was a great kill. That would probably be my second favorite for me. And the thing about the Sam kill, why I have it so high, is because I'm like, where were you for the last hour and 50 minutes? Why'd you? They saved it, and I get why they had to like build up. That was the big finale, the big final kill. But man, and this is another reason why Gory, I don't really buy her as a final girl because Sydney, if it was our role model here we're talking about. Sydney would kill as needed. She would kill to stop and put you down, and then she's done. She walks away. She did not kill Richie out of necessity. She killed out of enjoyment. This was like 30 seconds, 23 stabs. This is overkill is not even doesn't even do it justice. This is so
That's the thing. She enjoyed it.
she
It's
loved
almost
it.
like Dexter. It's like Dexter.
Hmm.
She's trying to find a way to direct it to something that's not going to destroy her and make her something evil. Here's
Yes.
what I want to see. Here, and
Okay.
this is how I think I'm really rooting for Scream 6.
Me
Really
too.
rooting for it. And I justify this in my head because we need to know that she experiences visions. And in a lot of ways, movies are like books. You primarily have one main character or a couple main characters whose point of view you're from. Primarily, this is from Sam's point of view. The only way we're gonna know that she has visions of her dead dad is if we're in her point of view. It wouldn't have
Hmm.
worked from Tara. So I understand why they chose her.
Yeah.
I think now that we have that information in the next movie, she does not need to be the main character. It can be Tara. And then we can look at Sam with that side eye, like, I saw what you did to Richie. I know you have visions. And,
Yes.
Tara's all like, but she's my sister. And we're just like, girl, did you see
Mm-mm.
what you did to Richie?
Yeah.
No?
Let's
So
not forget that.
that's what I'm hoping. I think there's still hope for Tara, who I think is a lot of people's favorite character in this movie. There's
Yep.
still hope for her to be the main character. I feel like this movie really is just kind of almost like setting up their own Scream thing. Like, say, just like saying, hey, you need to trust us. We know what we're doing. We've seen the movies. This isn't some bullshit money thing. We love
Right.
you guys. Please trust us. Please stick
Yes.
with us when we maybe step away from the legacy characters a little bit and get into our own characters in our own world. And maybe when we do things a little differently, maybe we change up the ending. Maybe the ghost thing's different. I think this movie was about earning trust.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that the next movie that they really let their freak flags fly and do their own thing.
Yep. A good point. And it was about earning trust, and I also think it was equally about, as part of that trust building, was making sure that they reverently respect Wes's legacy and the first four films. And I call this like a hybrid of half Craven, half Radio Silence in a blender, and you pour it out. And this is what Scream 5 was, because it had some
Mm.
elements like that, like the end. Yeah, exactly. It's like, because the entire sequence, in my opinion, here of Wes in the kitchen with all the doors. That's so Wes Craven. That is something that I would see him do in a lot of his movies. And it was a signature move. I mean, in Red Eyes, there's so many movies I can call that. That to me was the radio silence saying this is for Wes. This is a Wes style setup, and it was brilliantly done with the
And
doors.
initially, when they asked Kevin Williamson
Hmm.
to be a part of it as a producer, he said no. He said no a few times.
5 times.
Yeah, and then he read the script and he's like, I like it, and he was in tears. He's like,
Hmm.
I told myself I would never do this without Wes. And then he's like in
Yeah.
tears and he said, please just dedicate the movie to Wes. And
Hmm.
like that's how much it meant to him because
Yeah.
that this was their thing. This was their baby. And
That's
to do
right.
it without him, I think had to have been so painful.
It had to be. It had to. I mean, I remember they were talking about when Billy came on, and the OG cast was when Billy did his parts. He went onto the set of the Stu Macher house set, and they said that Radio Silence said they were watching Skeet as he walked in. Again, it's not the house, but it's a replica in the inside. And when he walked into the set, that Skeet was tearing up walking into the kitchen of the set because it was like, and of course they started like tearing up because they were watching him in like a time capsule, like he stepped back to that. And I'm sure all the memories. Again, I know it's not the exact location, but it's a replica of everything. And
It
they
brings
said
back
he teared
memories.
up on the set, just walking through the set. It got skied. That's how emotional it was for all of these OG folks that were involved. And
Yeah, like I said, Jamie Kennedy was crying about it, and the fact that they showed them so much respect, and there's tons of stuff in there. Like I'm sure you guys have seen all the videos because you guys are big Scream fans. But yeah, there's tons of stuff in there.
yeah,
But yeah, they really put a lot of attention to detail in this. One of the things that got me was seeing Tatum's ashes. That's one of
yes,
the only thing I would change, and I still think it's a perfect movie. So this is no shade on it. I
okay,
think Scream is a perfect movie. The one thing I would change is I would have added a line of "Where's Tatum?"
hmm,
because that's his little sister. He knows she's at this party. He knows kids are dropping. He never mentions her.
true,
And I mean, Sydney does see her body, so that's fine that she doesn't. But that's his little sister, like on the stretcher instead of him like waiting or whatever. Like he doesn't know where his sister is. I would have changed it to where he said, "Where's Tatum?"
yeah,
You know,
yeah, that would
because
have
she
good.
deserved to be mourned. And even Rose McGowan said she was a little upset, that nobody acknowledges her death.
It's like
And so I
so
like that.
caught up in it they forgot about her.
I like that her ashes were included because I feel like she
Yeah.
deserved that. She was a great character.
She was an awesome character. I mean, every character in that movie. I mean, everybody, even Principal Hembry. I mean, just oh my god. I mean, that movie just. There's not a bad part of this film. Like any part of it, I call it the perfect film. It's just
Perfect.
it
Yeah.
is brilliant on screen. It's everything. And oh my gosh, I'm so thankful we have it forever to enjoy.
It's also rare, like, and again, this was my other criticism with Scream 5, is they all have, it's so funny about Scream. All the first three, four even, they are shot. Look at how they're shot. They are shot like John Hughes movies. They have vibrant colors, the
Yes.
costumes, the backgrounds. He didn't light this like a horror movie. He lit this
Mm-hmm.
like a John Hughes movie. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what he was going for, was like a slasher take on it. Because he wanted the smart characters from a John Hughes film put into a horror movie.
Yep.
What would have, because they are smart. John Hughes was known for writing smart characters. And
Absolutely.
so he lit it like one. My only complaint with Scream 5 is it looks like a horror movie. It
Mm-hmm.
lost that atmosphere. And the other thing about the atmosphere of Wes's Scream movies that I really liked is, even though you've seen characters you love die, you've seen some horrific shit.
Yeah.
You can't end that movie without having a smile on your face. Like, you're just like,
No.
wow, that was a roller coaster. Some parts of it were scary, but goddamn, I want to go on again.
Yes.
And I didn't entirely get that from Scream 5, but like I said, I am hoping for Scream 6 to do that.
Me too. I am too. I really am.
I
Uh,
love Radio Silence. I am rooting for this to be great.
I'm rooting for them. I am as well. I'm giving. I think they did enough to earn my optimism, is what I
Yeah.
like to say. And so I'm optimistic for six. And what's crazy is a year from right now, we will already be talking about our spoiler reviews of six.
Wow, we'll
Isn't
have to
that
redo
crazy? It's that quick. It's just nuts.
it. Wow.
So Bob Hudson with another $20 super chat. Thank you, Bob. Man, you're awesome. This is from me and necessary distraction. Okay. Don't forget teeth. Oh my gosh. I won't forget teeth. So we're gonna do that, guys. I'm telling you what. So something that I'm doing here for everyone in the live chat who is not a channel member or a Cravenite now, as we're going with the name. Uh, One thing that we're going to do is as we're going to have a special watch party just for channel members, just for the Cravenites.
Oh,
And so the Cravenites are speaking to me regularly, starting on our last members live stream Thursday about the movie Teeth. I've never seen it,
I love
and
teeth.
this is what everyone's saying. They're all saying it's a great movie. They're all saying that they want to watch it on our live stream, our members only live stream. And so I have not forgotten about Teeth, Bob. I appreciate you and Necessary Distraction for reminding me. And I know you will continue to remind me to make sure that we will do this very, very soon. Do we have it? Look at there. She's got it on DVD. Now, there it is.
We're exclusive.
That's a block. Oh, that's awesome. That's even better. That's great.
Oh, this is
So,
great, and it's got one of my favorite things to see in a movie, which there wasn't an official term for it, so I just call them penectomies. That's when a dude gets his dong cut off.
oh, wow.
Love
Okay.
that. Never get tired of
Oh man. Okay. Well, I had a hunch when I knew the basic premise. I don't know the premise. I just know what the situation is. I said, "Oh Lord, this is going to be something." So everyone in the members chat, and we've been talking about it. They all want to do a watch along party where we watch it together. So if you guys want to get in on this and watch Teeth,
your face is going to be priceless.
that's what everyone keeps telling me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, but I'm all for it. And
The
so
face you made when I said the word dong, like, it's going to be that times an 11,
it's
guys. Like,
man.
you're going to need to sign up for this Patreon.
Yes, it's gonna. I can't wait. I'm scared, but I can't wait.
It might break him. It might.
It might. I'm afraid it might. I'm very scared. So if you guys want to do that, just click that join button right now by the subscribe button. Become a channel member. You'll be a Cravenite, and you can join us for that members only. And thanks again, Bob, for the super chat and necessary. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so talking about Scream 1. We talked a little bit about that. Now, I think we can transition now. We got another, maybe 45 minutes or so. Right, Gory? We can hang out another.
Who we want
We,
to see in Scream 6.
yeah. Hey, my thought about Scream 6. Well, let's put it this way. How about this? Why don't we do this? We talked about Scream 5 a bit. And so one of the areas that I thought would be fun for us to talk about would be some of the returning characters from the past that we would like to see come back in Scream 6. I've been actually doing a video series on my channel now where I'm putting up, I've put a couple up so far, I believe, 2 or 3. And I'm going to continue to do a couple more. I got a couple more in my mind I haven't done yet, 2 or 3 more, of folks that we'd like to talk about coming back. So I would like to talk to you about that tonight as well. So why don't you start us off and give us one character, and then I'll give you one, and then you can give me one, and we'll just go back. So who do you want to see back in 6, or do you want to see return in 6?
My number one would be Kirby. I know the actress Hayden Panettiere is going through a lot of stuff with Ukraine right now. Her husband's Ukrainian, and obviously that situation is horrible. But I do feel like that is at least planned for some point, because they did hint at that little interview, and she was in the party scene. You can hear her voice. So I would love to see her again. I loved Kirby. Also, they know that Wes Craven has confirmed that she's alive.
Yes.
And even in the deleted scenes, there was like a missing poster of her. So they're obviously, she's in their minds of someone to come back. If not this movie, definitely I would love to see her in the next one. My other thought too, I don't think I would like it necessarily, but I would be happy to see her again. How much of a twist would it be if she was the opening kill? It would be a change up on the formula.
Yeah, it would. Bring her back
in Friday Part 2.
Oh yeah. So Kirby for the opening kill. Ooh.
If she can't do the whole movie, that might be a way to get her back in.
It might be, but then I wonder, would it be, if she can't do it now, would it be better? And I'm just posing the question: would it be better if we can get, if she's willing to be in it for like a full length film, or maybe half or 3/4? What if we waited until 7?
I got you, hon. This is my thoughts. Because maybe she can't do it. So if I was Radio Silence, they're watching, listen, I would kill her. I'd kill her in the opening. But I would kill her in a way that you can bring her back. Now, Alice is a good example. Alice dies at the beginning of Friday the 13th Part 2. They just did Jason Rising, which I was like, how the fuck are you going to bring back Alice? And they show a thing of her that shows that, yeah, she survived. Well, she can survive being stabbed in the head if you're stabbed in a certain place.
Sure.
So depending on how they kill her, she could still be alive, and it would be a surprise comeback for Part 7.
Okay, I see where you're going there. All right. So it's the best of both worlds then.
Like Hannah Montana, bitch. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you a bitch. I swear.
So great.
Oh, it's so bad. I'm never going to get invited back, guys.
Oh, no. That's awesome. I love it. I love your spontaneity. It's so good. Okay. That's an interesting way to do it. I hadn't thought about that. Where you do both. You do both. You bring her back, but then you bring her back in a way that she can come back later, and so you get both movies. I love that. That's awesome. Real quick, Polar says, "How do I become a Cravenite?" So yeah, Polar, all you got to do is just you should see a join button right next to the subscribe button here on the video or on the channel. Just click that button that says join. You'll have 5 different options to become a channel member, and when you become a channel member, you are now officially a Cravenite, and you can participate in all of our members-only live chats, movie watch parties, all that fun stuff. So thanks for asking, man. I appreciate that. That's how you do it. So I'll leave that on the screen at the bottom just in case it comes up again.
And you made a point in the chat. Someone said Necessary Distraction said she could come through the computer, like in a YouTube video or something. That's not a bad idea. I had thought about that before. I was like, we live in the area of YouTube right now. If I was in this situation and there's a reoccurring copycat killer in my town, I probably would do a YouTube video, be like, okay, this is what you need to do. Listen to me, because I've survived it. I might even do a subscription thing for $19.99. I'm going to send you a gun, some of the flashlight. I'm going to give you your final girl kit. You're welcome. If you join my Patreon, you will get special bonuses.
That's awesome.
Along those lines. But yeah, she could. Especially because Kirby loves movies. She might even just be like thinking that that's the way.
Yeah. That's really cool, man. I love these flow of ideas, man. This is. I'm thinking to myself, because we're kind of casting a broad net tonight. But man, imagine the discussions we could have when we get laser focused on one particular sequel only. Can you imagine, like, if we were to pick apart Scream 2 or Scream 4 or Scream 3
I
and
love
Scream,
deep diving.
man, deep dive. There you go. That's the term.
That's what I
That
do.
Oh yeah. Oh, and you're brilliant at it. You're brilliant at it. And by the way, this is the perfect time to mention it. But if for everyone in the chat, if you have not yet subscribed, like necessary, I subscribe. If you've not subscribed yet to Gory B Movies channel, you need to do that immediately. You go over there, just hop over there, open up a browser window, whatever you got to do. Go click it in the description below. You can click a link. I've already got it in there. Click it, subscribe to her channel. You see how incredible she is. I mean, we've been going for an hour and a half, and it's just pure joy. It's amazing. It's such a wonderful time. It feels like it's been 5 minutes. And so, listen, I'm serious. I really mean that. So, everyone, guys, please go now. Cravenites, everybody in the chat, go subscribe now to her channel if you haven't already. And when you get done with the live stream tonight, when we're all shut down, a little birdie told me that we might, right, Gory? Do we want to tease what may be happening next?
After party at my house.
Boom, baby! After party at Gory B Movies channel.
Yes.
When we're done here, so hop over and show her some love in the live chat. And
this would be a horror hangout, a new thing I do where I just focus on what you guys are saying and we just talk and anything can happen.
love it. Love it. So, guys, please do show her some love. Again, I only bring you guys content creators that I enjoy myself, that I watch their content, that I see value in the horror community that they bring. And above all of that, they have to be really cool people. Because I don't like, I don't have time for drama and arrogance and egos and people that are down to earth and just want to talk and have fun together. That's what I'm about. That's what this channel's for.
I am a big fan, like Annie Wilkes level, of your channel. So that
Oh.
means a lot to me, and I am just honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. It truly is my honor. And I think that what's the song go, Gory? I think we're off to something good.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
A beautiful, yes.
I'm gonna go Casablanca on you.
There you go. I love that. I think so. I think that Gory will become a very, very familiar face around this channel. And so I love it. Jacqueline's popped in and said hello. Well, she's one of my Cravenites. What's up, Jacqueline? Good to see you. Glad you can make it tonight. All right. So
I want to hear your first pick because you're the guy. It's going to be Stu, right?
For me, yes, my very first pick.
I wanted to save that for you.
I appreciate that. I was like, I wonder if she's going to say it, and that would be fine if you did.
I would not Stu block you. Okay, we're like
Stu blocking.
I would not Stu block you. All right, my word.
Listen, thank you, and so let's go there. So everybody, get ready. Give me your best hashtag in the chat. Let's go. Get it up, Stu. Let's go. The Stu train is fueled up. It's ready. It's fully stocked with your favorite adult beverage, favorite soda. It's all here. Whatever your choice is, we're going to roll.
I ran out of whiskey. Necessary distraction just caught me in a Scream quote. It's an honor.
It's an honor. Yes. Love it.
Love it.
That's right. Stu Macher, he's got to come back. Come on, man. It's time. It's overdue. It should have happened in 5. It was set up perfectly in his house. In fact, I'm starting to work this week coming up on my next Stu video. I did one before 5. I'm going to do one now. And I'm going to point out all of the lines of evidence I see in Scream 5 Gory that point to Stu being involved in this current film.
Have you seen there's a video I saw and it's the return of Stu in Scream 5, but I don't know where they got the picture from or if they made it themselves, but his face is covered in scars and I'm like, that's exactly how you would look if you had TV dropped on your face.
I think I have. Is he sitting in a car?
Yes.
I've seen it. I have. Yes, it's a great shot. It's a great Photoshop. Whatever they did. Yeah, it looks good. And that's what it would be. We would have some scars, he's going to look different. But, man, I'm telling you right now, it needs to happen. I'm going to make this video. I'm going to talk about reasons why I think Scream 5 points to him already. And I believe, Gory, a couple of things. I believe, first of all, that he was the one who originated the post on Reddit where Amber and Richie meet.
That's
I
good. That's
I
good.
He's the
I like this
mastermind of
one
that.
because a lot of people don't like the idea of him being involved. I think that he's Roman in this Scream 5, that he's involved
Yes,
and none of them even realize it.
that's right.
Because he's like the
Absolutely.
puppeteer. That's how I think he's ultimately going to come into this, is like a puppeteer, like
Yep.
orchestrating it. He's moving the pieces around. So yeah, if he did that Reddit post, that's entirely
Yes.
what you would need to push them in the right direction. That, and it was his old house. We don't know who previously lived there. It could have been his parents. He
Hmm.
could have had a part in that.
He could have had a part. Yeah.
It could
Eh,
have been his house. I don't know if his parents are still alive.
That's the thing. We don't know. And what I love about not knowing is that as the writers have freedom to make it what they want because it's not defined at all. And, one of the theories that I currently go with is my favorite theory of how he's still alive is that his family was very wealthy, 'cause obviously by the house they were in. They had a boat, this beautiful house. They had means. So what if his parents were very wealthy, perhaps politically involved in some level in local government or state, federal government, any level you want. They were powerful people and they had a lot of money, and there were people that they paid off to say Stu was dead. They cremated
They could have
Stu.
even put him in witness protection if he gave them information.
Even that could have been, yeah, right. We could have been told a new identity. So there's like multiple ways you could do it. Because my original idea was he was in a mental hospital facility, some other state, and he gets broken out or whatever, and that's still a possibility. I love the witness protection idea you just mentioned.
The other thing is, originally he was supposed to, in 3, obviously,
Yeah.
he was supposed to be orchestrating this from prison. And the
Yes.
idea was that they were keeping it out of the news because they didn't want to draw more attention to this horrible murder thing that keeps getting copycat. I mean, you have to think about like this
Hmm.
town, they continually get copycats. They would not put this shit in the papers. You would have to dig. And so, yeah,
Yes.
he could be in prison. And
Yeah.
just, it's not been in the papers, it's not been on TV.
No, totally. That's viable. I mean, that's like a real plausible possibility. And and then you have the whole fake death scenario, which I think is beautiful because if he had a coroner paid off and met these people, then they could have cremated him. They buried his ashes. You can't check if it's his body. He's all ashes, and he's actually out of there. His parents paid these people off. They're corrupt people, and he's
His
actually
mom
been
could still be
alive.
the mom from Serial Mom.
Yeah. What's that?
His mom could still be the mom from Serial Mom. That would explain so much.
Exactly. Yeah, it would. Seriously, I mean, you could do so much with this storyline, and there's more. There's so many ways that you could. There's 3 or 4 ways we just came up with right now that are plausible. And I always say this: look, you
I wish we
don't
were in
need.
the writers' room right now. Hire us.
I
So,
know exactly.
my boy Craven, we got this.
We
Hire
could
us.
totally write this Gory in a great story, and then it would be plausible. We would think about all the objections, and we'd overcome them. We'd have
I,
answers for them.
I've actually thought
Everything.
a lot. Like when I was younger, I thought because I've read so many stories about horrible producers. I always thought, wouldn't it be cool to be a producer? Which Bruce Campbell does say. If, by the way, if you guys want to make your own movies, Bruce Campbell says the best thing to do is be a producer because you'll have control. But I've always thought it'd be cool to be a producer because I'd be the cool producer who'd be like, well, what do you want to do? All right, let's help your vision come to light because I think that's what's going to get butts and seats.
Yeah,
And if
I
I
love
didn't
it.
think that you would do a good job, I just wouldn't buy your shit.
Exactly. That'd be the end of it, and you go find another career or whatever, or go find another project or something to work on. But man, I'm telling you, there are ways to do it that we could make it plausible. It would be believable. And I just telling you, when I look at Scream 5, I'm like, okay, it was the perfect time. But then I thought to myself, well, hold on. If he's the mastermind, it's too soon. If Radio Silence is doing a trilogy, and so I think that's what the ultimate goal is, then maybe they are saving the rig reveal for him to either say the end of 6 or maybe it's 7. It may even be 7 before we see Stu. But I hope I would be satisfied if we saw him now
Here's
in
what I would
6.
like to see. I would like to see they need to change the ending. They kind of did it with 3, but it's been 2 killers every time reveal, blah, blah, blah. Somehow I want to be famous. It's been done. This one, they need to do something different. I think you can go ahead and do the 2 killers, but
Hmm.
then reveal there was a 3rd killer that got away. That's
Yes.
setting up there's something interesting going on, you
Hmm.
know? Then
Yes.
in the next movie, have more. Like, have there be a fucking cult of ghost faces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of like we saw that in Jigsaw. We saw there's a lot of people involved in this,
That's
or they
right.
put pieces together and they look at movies like, they look back at times like Scream 3 and they're like, doesn't make sense. He couldn't have done it by himself. Like, if you start looking back and you put the pieces together, there had to have been more people. And they realize that there are more people than the people they've caught, that there have been other ones that have gotten away. And that
Yes.
Stu is the puppet master of them all, which is
That's right.
Scream 7.
I'm all, yeah, drop the mic. I'm all, listen, I'm all for that. I think it would be amazing. And especially if Stu was the author, the creator of this dreaded post, and he is recruiting, he's manipulating these people, and there's more Amber and Richies. That was just two of them.
There's a psychological reason behind this too. Also, I love
Mm-hmm.
the necessary distraction. Absolutely, Ricky Lake should be the mother of the guy who got killed in the last one. Should be his sister. Absolutely.
Ricky.
Um, damn it! I got so distracted by what she said, which was awesome. But what were you saying before that?
Well, we're just talking about how he could be recruiting people on the thread, and Amber and Richie could be just two of many that he's recruiting and manipulating for this cult of Ghostface
Oh, I
killers.
remember what I was going to say. There's a psychological reason for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
A lot of people like to say, based on what he said, this is. I always liked Stu because Stu, kind of like Randy, was somebody I related to. I was somebody who I moved here from England and I was bullied pretty heavily. And my way of dealing with it was a sense of humor. If I
Okay.
made fun of myself first, you couldn't make fun of me. And that's kind of the character that Stu is. Stu is always the first person to make the joke. So
Yeah.
humor can make you impervious to a lot of shit. But
It's true.
obviously, this is a character that's hurting. Like, if you look at the whiteboard in his kitchen, it basically says his parents are gone. Like,
Yeah.
they're never around. They're
No.
not there. He's alone all the time. This is somebody who is desperately lonely. And
Yes.
his friend has an idea of something. And I think there is some anger and there is some hate in him. Why do you think two of the people he's dated get killed?
Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
expressing that. So he might say peer pressure, which to a degree, yeah. He has one friend that he loves who's been there for him while mom and dad have been gone. He is hurting.
True.
So he gets into a position where he can recruit people. He's making his own family, people who pay attention to him, people who listen to him, people who do whatever he says. He is their Billy and they are his
Yeah.
family.
He is their Billy. I love that. He is their Billy. Think about that. Mm.
I'm getting so crazy.
I'm loving it. No, I'm just like letting it soak in because that's so true. Because people always say, well, Billy was the one, Stu was the lapdog. I'm like, dude, he was 17. The guy's going to be in his late 40s right now. He's not going to be that 17-year-old guy you can just push around anymore. Life has changed him. And now he wants the respect. And you notice how one of my reasons why I believe I'm going to use as a line of evidence. I'm going to use multiple lines of evidence. This is a great shot because you can see both of us, and Stu's right there in the middle. So I'm going to leave that up for a minute. One of the great things, I love it. Yeah, I love it. It is.
Or
And
like
Stu's
the
sandwich.
pieces of bread around the meaty goodness that is.
Yes, and the great thing is that meat can be changed here and it still works. But this is even better. Oh no, I'm wrong one. This is best. I like that one best. Yeah, for this. This is perfect. Yeah. So the thing is though is that he could be doing these things. He could be controlling. He's not going to be that pushover dude anymore. And one of the lines of evidence I'm using for my next video about Stu is that in Scream 5, he's always not taken seriously, even in 5. You notice how when he asks who's the killer in Scream 1, Tara says it's Billy Loomis. And he's like, no, it's Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. And I'm like, oh, see, already we're getting Stu Macher's referenced in the first 11 minutes, and he's forgotten. See, these are the things I'm paying attention to. He's forgotten in that first scene. That tells me that Stu wants recognition because he never gets recognized.
It's that psychological thing. His parents ignored him.
Yes.
He was part of one of the biggest, most famous killings in the fucking country.
Yeah, that's right.
In the country. So sorry.
Yeah,
And
it's
all
okay.
anyone remembers is Billy
It's
Loomis.
Billy Loomis, Billy Loomis, Billy
That's
Loomis.
it.
That's it. That is
Billy
it.
Loomis is like the Marsha of the situation. You know, Stu killed at least half of those people. If you ask me, this is
Yeah.
Stu Macher on my shirt.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And not only that, remember whenever Sam and Richie are in the car driving to Woodsboro, and he's like, she basically says, "You never seen Stab?" Blah blah blah. And what does she say? She says, "Billy Loomis and his friend." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh no, that's not it." I'm telling you guys, there's a reason. I believe that is foundation. She didn't even call him by Stu. He said Billy Loomis and his friend killed a bunch of people,
And
and it's
even like
disrespect.
the other characters have talked about him. Randy refers to him first to Billy Loomis as a mama's boy, and then he talks about Stu, and he's just like, oh, this is his friend. You know,
Yeah.
they show
Yes.
neither. They don't show him any damn respect, and on top of
None.
that, they don't show Billy respect. And obviously, Billy was like a brother to him. That's the person he loved the most in the world, probably more than his
Yes.
own family, because he's the person who was there.
He was his family. Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo, boy, this is good stuff. I love this is getting
yeah.
this is getting
So
heated up. I love it.
apology of Stu Macher. Jen says, I'm glad to see you're still in the Stu story. I thought we lost it because Fate was saying I was on the train. I still believe that it was Stu that killed Dewey just because the body type. But he
Oh
did
yeah.
point out that Dewey was bent over. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying there. You make good points. But don't you worry, John. I never left the Stu train. I was sitting there on the caboose being like, you can't push him too hard, okay, or he's not going to get on the train. I want him on the train.
That is the true now, man. Because maybe that's the strategy we need to start taking is we just go baby steps. We just do little tiny little things to ease him into it.
I have a teenager. I know what to do. You got to listen first. Can you trust? And then
Yes, there you go. I love it. Christopher's got a $5 super chat. Thanks again, Christopher. He says Robert England as Fred the janitor, mastermind in Scream
I love
6.
that.
Heck yeah. Robert England, you kidding? Man, that guy's talking about an icon. Oh my gosh. Hashtag live her alone. That's right, Becky. Ah, the Stew Express. I love all the stew tags.
Even the liver alone thing, like that's the kind of stupid jokes I would make. And I even wrote in college that had a title like that. Like I sympathize with Stu. I know he's the bad guy, but I sympathize. I
absolutely.
How this character got into a place where, yeah, it is a little bit of peer pressure, but it's also just a lot of neglect and a lot of buried hate that's been masked with humor.
Right, it's true. Bob with another $20 super chat. Wow, Bob, brother, thank you, my man. Bob says, Stu. Oh, Gory, you do it so much better than me. Do that again for me. Would you do it one more time? Yes. Stew Express forever. Yes. Get it up. Awesome. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your generosity. And let's see. I think I have another. Oh, and Bob is back with another $20 super chat. Bob, brother, thank you, my man. Thank you so much. I would still like at the end of 6 have a pan in on a computer and the user signed in on Reddit. We're just talking about this as Stu. Oh, and we see him recruiting people on it, dude. Exactly. Wouldn't that be now, Gory? What do you think about that as a cliffhanger ending? That's how Scream end credits right after you see that.
Not a bad idea. And I also, who better to prey on people who are lonely, who are misfits, who are ignored, who are neglected than somebody who went through it? He would know exactly what to say.
Yeah.
You know? He
totally.
knows exactly. I think he knew exactly what to say to piss off Richie. Be like, no, you deserve your movie. Like sometimes people just need to be pumped up a bit.
Yes.
You know?
That's right.
I think he is a lot smarter than he let on.
I 100%.
If some people have told me you're reading too much into it. 2 of his freaking girlfriends were killed. That's not a mistake. There's a lot more going on than he's showing us.
Yeah, there is a lot more.
The brutality. The 2 most brutal deaths in that movie are his girlfriends. Yep. The way Casey went out and the way that Tatum went out are the 2 most gruesome kills in that film.
Agreed.
There's passion there.
Yes, there is, and I guarantee you that.
Not you.
Well, no, no, but
Again, another brutal kill. Like
true.
there's anger there.
A lot. Yeah, yeah. That's not just stabbing somebody. This is overkill. This is you're gutting and you're. I mean, come on, man, gutting them open and here's another thing. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but it's still about Stu. But the Stu and Dewey thing. The whole reason that I'm on board now officially with Stu did kill Dewey in 5 is because look at the way Dewey is killed. He is cut from groin to sternum. Remember, it's identical to how Stu said you do it at the fountain in Scream 1. We've never seen anyone
Yes,
actually
like
do
I
that on camera.
do.
Yes.
Heart. Sorry, I
And
didn't mean
it's
to interrupt. I was just excited.
listen, and that's the only time in Scream 5 that anyone's killed that way.
That's
It
awesome.
was specifically with Dewey, and that was it. But the knife is in and going all the way up. Guts falling out, organs falling out.
You are 100% correct. Absolutely.
Telling you right now, I'm on that train. And I have to give credit where credit is due because Bob, thank you again, Bob. Really, thank you so much, man. I have to give credit where it's due on this because Jen, there's Jen Warner right there. She is now Gory. I'll tell you about Jen. I'm gonna give Jen a little bit of love because she is an OG of my channel. She was one of my first 5 subscribers from day one. She was there like the first or second day I launched it. And she was following my videos before this channel existed. When I was on my first channel, the Movie Bros React, which is still out there, by the way, if anyone wants to subscribe to it, it's out there. It's not very active, but me and my buddy Michael, we still do some stuff every now and then on there. She found us over there, like back in August of last year for Screamfest, where I did a breakdown of all the Scream movies. Well, she found us there, and I told her, I remember sending her a message saying, hey, I want to let you know I'm starting this brand new channel. It's my own solo channel called Craven Something Scary. And if I'd love for you to come over because I'm going to talk about Craven movies. And that was it. Next thing I know, she subscribed to the channel. She was there so she is my original OG
That's
subscriber.
sandbox love right there.
It is. So
I've
Jen,
hung out with Jen in a few chats. She's pretty awesome.
oh, she's so great, and she's one of my moderators as well. I've got four moderators. She's one of my moderators, and she's the first person I want to give credit for this. I could easily just take the credit. That's not how I am. Jen was the very first person who I heard ever say the theory of Stu killing Dewey, and when she planted that little seed one day in a chat in a comment, and I started to think about it. And I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna simmer this for a little bit." And I want you to know, Gory, I'm a firm believer that is exactly who killed Dewey.
I want to hear your thoughts on why Amber took credit for it.
I have an idea for that. So I believe that the reason Amber took credit was because Stu said, it's not time for me to be revealed. We are starting something that's going to be a master plan that's going to spread out much bigger than just these events. So I'm going to kill him, but you're going to get all the glory for killing him. And so he kills Dewey, and then Amber takes the credit because she's following the narrative that Stu wanted to be done, where she's like, and that's because she's going to be famous for killing a legacy person.
I've thought about this, and I think she can take credit, and I think he can take credit because I look at this a lot like this cult as a lot like Saw, especially if you watch Jigsaw.
Okay.
They all kill in the name of Jigsaw. They all kill in his name. So yeah, she could take credit because she's part of the collective that he built.
Yes.
You know,
yes, that's true.
Cults like that, they become like the Borg. They're all of one mind. So what you do, I did. It's what
I
we
like
did.
that. It's a we. Now, see, that's an interesting idea, Gory. I haven't heard this exact thought yet. I love that idea. So everyone, we're a group. We're even though I'll use the word you use, the collective. We're a collective. So if I act on something, or you act on something. Well, I did it. We did it. It's all of us. Yeah. It's one thing.
Yeah, I can say yes. Like you could have killed him, but because we are part of the same body, the same collective, I can take honor in that because we're part of the same thing. We're part of the same being.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to. Gory, I have to take that. Do I have your permission to run with that?
Of
I
course.
have to use this in a video because I'm going to be doing a stew video, and that is because one of the biggest objections is.
Count me out.
Oh, I will. Oh, believe me, trust me, girl. I will trust me. Just like I gave Jen, I always will give Jen props for that first idea. You've got that one's. That's the first I've heard it. So I'm going to mention you on this because it is really a cool idea. I never thought of it that way, but it makes a lot of sense. And because that's just,
Do this even with the other things that try to train groups like the military. There is really no I in that. You are part of a group. So what your brothers do, what your sisters do in the military, you guys did together. What your team did.
yeah. Oh, that's good. This is great. This is so awesome. Are you available tomorrow? And then how about Monday and Tuesday? I'll just bring you on every night. We can just keep this rolling.
Yay! Maybe I can move up from the caboose, not.
Yeah. You don't need to be danging out back there. Look, I got VIP sections of the train. I mean, it's got the luxury recliner seats, the all plush. It's all fully stocked refreshments and beverages, and you need to come up to the
All right.
front. That's
Well, now
that's
that
where
I'm
the
excited, I'm gonna inch my way up there. It's gonna be
you
like that. What's it called? Snow
oh,
piercer. Snow piercer. I'm working my way up.
I love it. Necessary says, yeah, Scream 3, that's right. It was going to originally be a cult of goat faces. Yep, it sure was. That was the idea. And I think that idea could so still be executed and done. I'm telling you. Uh,
And
we've
like I
talked
said,
about
there's
it.
so many psychological things you can do with this. Like there's a movie I saw called Faults, which was about a guy who it's his job to deprogram people from cults. But yeah, they are when you're in a cult, you're like you're programmed like they program you in a certain way. So what people are
Hmm.
capable of doing in that situation, it's crazy. Like she says I was radicalized.
Yes,
She
she was.
actually was. She's not being dramatic. She was radicalized by this group that she had become a part of. That's what they're doing. They tell you what they want to hear, they get you sucked in, and then they just start feeding little bits of crazy to you.
Yes, little by little, like you're talking about earlier.
Mhm.
If you
And
you
then when
you
you're
don't.
so knee deep and crazy, you don't know how you got there. It's because
Yeah,
it was just little bits.
that's right. And you feel it feels normal at that point. It doesn't feel crazy because you've slowly been manipulated and molded to view things certain ways. And by the time you get there to where the crazy stuff's introduced, it feels like it's the right thing.
Hmm.
It makes sense. It should be this way.
A lot of
Eh,
a lot of religions even do this. There's a reason why Scientology doesn't open with the whole "we believe in aliens" thing because they know that's going to turn people away. They kind of get you
Right.
in there first. You
Right.
know, I think
Yes.
Christians same too. You can do this with any religion, but they usually tell you the crazy stuff. Like, well, then the river got parted, and then bush burned by itself. They introduce that stuff later. Once you're in, once you're in. Like
Well,
even like the military, they all start with, this is gonna look at the commercials for the military. This is gonna make you stronger. This is gonna make
right.
you your best self. This is gonna make you a hero. They'll get into the specifics of how they want you to kill other human beings later on.
That's right. It's all part of the process, and and again, but then again, there's ways you could do it because there's you know, not everything is bad, right? Not everything is wrong. Not everything is sinister, and all this.
And
And
I'm
you
not,
always have.
yeah. If you
And I
guys,
know you didn't mean it that way. I know that. I understand. About, no, it's just yeah. And obviously, when it comes to world systems and belief systems, you have to evaluate each of them on their own merits and see where the truth leads you to. But at the end of the day, though, someone who is not mentally right. I mean, we see it in the cults, like the James Jones, right? Or Joseph Smith, or Joan. Oh, I always forget his name. The
Jones,
one. Tell me again.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Thank you. Why can I never remember that?
Oh,
Those type of people who are charismatic but not right, but they have a way that draws people to them, and
and
it's
just
interesting.
to clarify, I'm not saying anything against the military. Those are all things that have value and
Oh
are
yeah,
we're part of them. That's 100% cool. I'm just saying that's they're using the same tactics that cults use because cults are actually bad, but they are
they are.
borrowing from these other organizations that have devout followings. People who are in the military, like you don't stop being a Marine when you are done. You're a Marine
Yeah,
for
and for life.
life.
That's right.
These are other organizations that have extreme loyalty, and cults borrow from that. They borrow from that in order to use the same tactics to get that loyalty. Unfortunately, it's for usually a a bad end result.
Yeah.
So, and
True.
that's the thing with like a lot of things, even when you're applying to college, they start off with like
Hmm.
how much fun it's going to be. They don't open you up with how many
Yeah.
hours you're going to spend not sleeping, but
No.
I feel like cults look at this stuff and they look at human psychology. And I think that's what's going to be happening with the Stu cult.
I agree. No, you're absolutely right. And it's all about master manipulation and taking advantage of people in vulnerable mental states. And yeah, it's interesting. And I think that Stu is going to be shown to be the ultimate manipulator at the end of the day. That he's going to dwarf, or is it dwarf the right word? He's going to basically be a full blown eclipse over Billy Loomis. When this is
I
all
agree.
said and done, it's
I
going to
agree.
dwarf Billy Loomis's
I mean, Billy's almost a
reputation.
kind of passion. It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of
Yeah.
anger. He's smart. He's smart as hell. But I feel like Stu has literally been simmering on this for so long. He's got the time. He's
Yeah.
had the time to really put together something ingenious.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
like Radio Silence has put together this movie that they wanted to make Wes proud, Stu is putting something together that I think in his heart he wants to make Billy proud.
I do too.
And
And
that's like
I
the perfect vehicle for Radio Silence to bring.
It is perfectly. That's right. And there is, and I wonder how. That's right. Stu's master plan must unfold. That's right, Casteller, and and that brings me to another question, Gory, about this because with him wanting to make Billy proud in a sense, or and they could do it. See, here's the thing: is I love about this. They could do that way, or at the end of the day, they can make it where he's resentful to Billy because he ended up getting the spotlight. He never got the respect. And now, and he thinks of Billy, it's no longer that kind of bond they had. It's more of resentment towards him because he wanted it. Now, I'm not saying they have. I'm saying this is an option. You could do it, but at the end of the day, even if you're in a relationship that's so messed up and fractured like this, there's still a part of him, I believe, that wants to make Billy happy.
I do think like there might be some toxicity there. There might be some resentment, and certainly if they're planning that, then they've planted the seeds in Scream 5 because there's a couple moments
Yeah.
where, like, when he's kind of like showing her where the gun is, there's a couple moments where I'm like, dude, you're the bad guy, or where he kind of gives her that, like, the force
Oh yeah. The
smile at the
face,
end.
the nod, little
Yeah.
wink. Yeah.
That's a little much for me, but maybe, in his, it's also a hallucination. It's not even a
Right.
ghost. It's
He's
a
not a ghost.
hallucination.
He's right.
But yeah, it also that there could be setting up some kind of like what we didn't know what was happening in that relationship, or setting up Stu's feelings about it. Like, what if Stu is jealous that Sam can see him and he can't?
Oh yeah. And oh wow. So you could almost have where you think more. Am I misunderstanding you? Like maybe Stu is seeing Billy too, or am I misunderstanding you
I
on that?
think I think because he misses his friend and he can't see him, he would be
Okay.
angry that Sam can, because
Oh, okay.
she never even knew him. So why does
Right.
he get to see him?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was his
Yeah.
family. He should get to see him. He's crazy. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't
Right.
understand hallucination. He's a crazy person.
Yes. That's true. Jason with the $5 super chat. Thank you again, buddy. I'm now a huge fan of Gory B movies. She has some awesome insight and great takes. Craven, you are the man. Thank you for this. Oh, thank you, Jason. And I agree. I'm a fan too. Gory's awesome. I knew you guys were gonna love her,
I
man.
ramble and I go into some weird tangents, and I just hope it's all made sense.
It's absolutely it perfect sense to me. So here's a question I have for you. So what about so we're talking about how this whole thing about hey Ness, just want to say bye to Necessary. Good night, Necessary. Hope you feel better. Take care. So what am I trying to say? Okay, here's my question for you. With Stu in relation to Billy, as far as wanting to make him happy or maybe not, whichever way, how will that affect his relationship now with Sam? Because she is his daughter. So how do you think Stu is going to envision or receive Sam? Will he
Well,
embrace her or he will resent her?
he could resent her because she sees Billy and he doesn't. If
Yes.
they're going to go with it the way I've been going with it, like, kind of a psychological way. On the other hand, he has a lot to relate to. He was basically neglected and abandoned too.
Hmm.
He could use that hate she has, that feeling of neglect, that feeling of being rejected by a parent. He can, if he's smart, he could use that to manipulate her and get her into this collective. To
Yes.
where she really is somebody that we need to worry about being Ghostface. And the only thing tethering her is Tara. But even Tara knows that Sam has left her before. So
That's right. Boy, I mean, I'm really,
we've
I
gone
just,
down so many rabbit holes.
I know, and I love it. That's why I absolutely, absolutely love it. Maverick says you got to head out. Good night, Maverick. Thanks, man. Always. Appreciate you, man. You're doing good, brother. Don't worry about it. Get some rest, man. Get some rest. We're
I'm
good.
sorry everyone's just feeling well. Danny's also been very sick lately. Like there's,
Oh man.
I don't know. I think just hey, there's Danny.
Gory is my. I just saw that. Gory is
Just
my
talking
wife.
about you. Yes. You're my wife now. I don't know if you guys watch League of Gentlemen, but we quote that a lot. You're my wife now.
That's awesome. I love
He
that.
just like grabs a woman in a sack. You're my wife now.
Your wife now. That's great. What's up, Danny? Good to see you pop in, man. Appreciate it. Um, MM says I heard the director said Stu was unequivocally dead. I believe. Well, of course they would. They have to say that because if Stu is going to be the big reveal, if he's the big secret, they're not going to say he's alive because that's like taking the big surprise out and opening it up.
Okay, if you've been asking for what's the system everybody wants, a PlayStation 5,
Right.
right? And your parents got you one. They got you one. They worked their butts off to get you one, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you're like, did you give me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas? They're not going to say, yes, we got you a
No.
PlayStation 5. No, they want to see your cute little face on Christmas morning getting your PlayStation 5.
Bingo.
Radio Silence wants to see your cute little face when they give you your gift of
Yes.
stew. Okay? So they're telling you, oh, no, we didn't get you a stew.
No. No way.
Stew. They got
Yes.
you a stew.
Bingo. That's right. I actually want to hear them say he's dead because to me, if they start to say he's alive, I don't buy it. But when I hear them say he's dead, oh no, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, yes, that actually fuels my passion more because that's what they want us to. They're never going to reveal that ahead of time. You just gave a great analogy. It was perfect.
Even if they do, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first Sonic when we were like, that's hideous and you should be ashamed and never leave your house again until you fix that.
Right.
If enough fans want it, even if it's not the plan currently, it will happen. They obviously care about the fans in this franchise. Like the Scream 5 was a love letter to fans and to Wes Craven. So if enough fans want it, I don't think they would do that to the fans.
No. Nope, I agree, 100%. There's so much on the line, so much at stake, and he's just. I mean, I'm telling you, the response if he comes back. Can you imagine the?
Oh my God! Seriously, when that movie comes out, I kind of need to have you on speed dial so I could just be like, "You saw it? Yeah, I'm watching it now."
Oh yeah, no, trust me, believe me.
And ahead of me in the time zone, so I just be like, I'd probably be like, "Shut the hell up! I haven't seen it yet."
Yeah, exactly. No, trust me. We'll exchange digits. Trust me, because I'm telling you, man. If that happens, I'm gonna say when that happens. I'm going out and saying when that happens. It is going to be. Oh yeah. Can you imagine trying to do? Oh gosh, can you imagine like for the collective whenever Scream 5 came out that same afternoon on opening day we did a Lethal Collective where we all had seen it and it was non-spoiler.
That's what we need to do. We need to get like a stream like planned like the day we see it. Like,
yes.
We need to plan this so we get our first reaction.
Have to do it. We have to get our first reactions. And we have to have it all together live at one colossal live stream. Like get all of us on there, get you on there, get like 6, 7 of us on there, content creators, and we're all going to talk about the movie. But what's going to be so difficult is if Stu is in there, we can't say it. It's not if it's non-spoiler review, we can't talk about it.
I got you. Right now, we'll do a code word.
Okay. Code word. There you go.
If he's in it, because we're not going to talk about it when we see it. If he's
No.
in it, the code word is going to be something really good. What is it?
Oh
It
man.
can't be anything obvious. Like
No, exactly. It can't be obvious. Everyone will get it.
it has to be
Uh,
something we can just slip in, so that if you really want to know,
yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We got to think about this, Gory. We got to give us some real good thought because
you think about it.
let's think about it because I want us to come up. I think that's a great idea. Let's come up with something so that no one will know, but we can get it in there. Uh, or the other option is, and this is much harder probably because we want to get that initial because it was so neat to have that initial reaction the same day we watched it. Like I literally came from theaters 2 hours earlier and I just talked about it. But if we were to wait and do a spoiler live stream like 3 days later or 4 days later or something, where we blast spoilers everywhere so
We
everyone
could just say,
knows.
I kind of want to just do that. Just be like, okay, guys, it's going to be spoilers. Do not watch it unless it's spoilers. Because I mean, if
Yes,
you're a diehard fan, I've seen every one of these movies on opening day. Like, I don't miss a Scream movie. It's an
no,
event.
it is an event. Yes, it is an event, and it's something that's like I look so forward to. Like when I know that, like March 31st, I already am thinking like everyone. I got some folks I end up thinking of here locally that I know that everybody's got to
Like,
take off
your
work.
cousin's getting married. Scream's coming out that day. Maybe you should have been less inconsiderate about the day you picked your wedding.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, I got plans.
I have actually canceled on Friends because, like, I'm sorry, I don't do stuff on Tuesdays. That's when Buffy's on.
That's
I
so
have.
good.
I
Are you serious? I love that.
Oh, I have. I had a friend who was like, we need to go hang out for something. And I'm like, no. It's Tuesday. I watch Buffy. And that was before, like, like now where you could, like, stream it, like, the next day. Like, if you missed it, you missed it.
That's right. You missed it. You missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Jacqueline's got a great question. So, when do you think we will start to hear more about who's signed on? I personally, Gory, I'll get your opinion after and see what you think. I think we're going to start hearing something this month. It'll be sometime in April. We'll start getting the leaks will start coming down.
Next. She just needs to read the script.
Yeah, and just last time she was the last one to announce, and maybe she'll be the second one now that Courtney's on. Maybe she'll be the second one, and then we'll find out what we're going to do with these with our Chad Mindy and with Tara, when they sign on. Hopefully, we're going to start hearing all that stuff. And then, who's the new cast, Gory? That's what I'm excited to see. Is who are the newbies they're bringing in?
I don't want them to bring too many new people in. They already have a new cast. I think maybe one more. The problem with Scream 5 was there's too many characters. I want to get to know the characters they introduced in the last movie better. I want to get to know Mindy more. I want to get to know her twin brother and Sam. Like, give them more screen time. You do need to introduce a couple people that you can kill off.
Yeah, you got to have bodies to drop. Yeah.
Easy. Have some love interests. Mindy has a new girlfriend. Her brother is dating a new chick because this chick got killed.
That's right.
Got to get a new chick. Replacement chick.
Well, and I think who's going to die? Because I don't believe all of them are going to 7. I think personally Chad's not going to make 6.
Please don't kill Mindy because they always kill the nerd one of the group and then they have to bring him back. They had to make a new one. Like, Randy was great. Why'd you kill him? He should have been the next one. Then Kirby was great. They killed her unless they kill Mindy because they know they're bringing back Kirby for a bigger part in 7. Which case,
yes, now that would help. Yeah, that would definitely help offset it. Personally, I hope that if they're going to kill some of the new folks, Chad's dead. I think Chad will go. Mindy will survive into 7. Now, she may not survive 7, or she might. But I think that I'd like to think, at least, that Mindy was going to make it for the trilogy. And then you just have, Sam and Tara. They're probably the safe way. The safe bet is they're going to survive through both. Probably. It's just the safest bet.
I think Tara should end up being the final girl.
Oh, I do too. Me too. 100%. I'm one of the few. It seems like I'll ask you because I haven't asked you this exact question. I'm one of the few that actually wants to see Sam go full blown dark side into Ghostface.
He's kind of like the new what's his name in the Star Wars.
Or I was even going like the Anakin Skywalker back when he turned to Vader, like old school. But yeah.
Yeah, well, they're kind of walking that line. Like they could go one way or they could go the other way. Just we'll see. I think the only thing really tethering her to the good, it's Tara. And that's one of the other problems I had with that
Yeah.
movie is the previous movies, you cared about these characters because they were great, but also because how much you saw that they cared about each other. It's painful to see Randy die. It's even harder when you see the reaction on Sydney and Gail's face. They loved that character. It's painful when, you see the reaction on Gail's face after Dewey dies. Like,
Oh man.
because how much these people love each other. And so I think like that's something that was missing in 5 because Sam didn't have a relationship with anybody except for Tara. I think she
Yeah.
babysat him a couple times, but like she
Right.
has nothing to lose. But these
Nope.
are Tara's friends. Tara does have something to lose. That's why she
That
should
she
have been the main
does.
character.
I know. I agree. Man, I'm telling you, you and I are on this. We are on the same page. We are locked and loaded. Yes, totally. I hear some of your ideas. I'm like, oh, you've been in my mind. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. This is right. Oh, I don't know. Austin says I'm ready to see Sam as a ghost face. I am too, man.
I think that'd be awesome. And then it's one of those things where it's like if this movie was like an Empire Strikes Back, where it all makes sense after you see the trilogy, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. You had a plan. Like my opinions on Part 5 could change very well if they did some of these things intentionally. Maybe we're not supposed to be super on board with Sam. Maybe we're supposed to think she's sketchy because she's
Maybe.
not going to be the final girl.
Yes.
Like I mean, we don't know how much they have planned.
No. We don't. And what the ultimate plan is for her, and I hope that is the plan. Like they made it where we're kind of like not liking her a whole lot, like in general, because they don't want us to get too attached to her. Maybe the plan is they wanted us to get attached to Tara, which I am, and I think the
It
majority are,
would be
right?
very clever.
Yeah, it
And I
would.
think we are very clever. So I think we're figuring some stuff out.
Oh, I hope so.
I
Oh my
have another
gosh.
character I want to come back.
Okay. Oh yes, yes. Please give me your next one. Next character.
Even though I've gone over. Okay, I think what your next one's gonna be. Come on,
Okay.
already have that one.
All
I
right.
want Joel the cameraman. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Joel the cameraman. Okay,
Heck
I
yeah.
love Joel the cameraman because he was supposed to die in that movie, and then he was like Wes Craven, like he's great. Like the actors could talk to him. He's like, dude, the black guy always dies. Like, please, like for once, can you let him be a smart character and be like, yeah, I don't get paid enough for this. Screw you all. I'm going to Disneyland. You know?
Yep.
And like, why can't you? And then he comes back by his own accord because he has developed, he does care about Gail. He's like, I'm right here
Yeah.
with you.
That's
And I
right.
think that's cool. So yeah, she just lost her husband. This is somebody who is willing to, get her back in a fight. I can see Joel coming back.
Me
You
too.
know? I think he would be a great character, and he was smart and he was funny, and I would love to see him come back.
How do you feel about Joel being the father of the Meeks twins?
Um, I feel like he's a little too old.
It'd be a little bit of an age gap there. But maybe if they met after Scream 3 when Martha was not 17, when she was she was like maybe 20 and he was like
I don't like it.
27,
I
28.
I don't like it.
Is that
I
too
think
yucky kind of feel like Richie Amber
he's
feel to you?
still underage in
Yeah.
3, and he's an adult in 2.
Yes.
And I feel like his motivation for coming back would be Gail. If anything, they could tease maybe her like finding something with him because that's
Hmm.
his connection character. He doesn't really have a relationship with Sydney.
No.
I don't see how he would meet Martha Meeks unless he was a creeper.
I mean, I don't know either. That's a good question.
I
I
don't think it
mean,
makes sense.
it would. There's some intertwined connection with Gail and all,
And
but I
also,
don't.
I really hate that because a lot of times, like in horror movies, like the only two black characters, of course they're dating. It kind of implies that one of the only black characters we've seen, of course they're already related. Like, let's expand the universe a little bit here. Like
Yeah.
just because their dad is a person of color doesn't need to be one of the 3 or 4 that we've had in this series because the series has been pretty whitewashed up until Scream 5.
Yeah.
I
True.
think that honestly would do more harm than good.
Well, that's actually an interesting way to think about it. And maybe we shouldn't go there. That's the default for me has always been like, oh, he's going to be the father, and this is what they're going to do. But maybe you're right. Maybe Joel should be just Joel, not Joel who's Blank's father or
He could
ex
also
husband.
come back as a savvy character because he's lived through it too.
He
You know,
has.
but
It's
I
true.
don't think he needs to. I think he can just come back and be a good friend to Gail, who's gonna need a good friend.
Yep, that's right. I think you're right. Uh, and Bob with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Bob, for another super chat tonight. Says radio silence is fooling people with five. Tara is the true
Fate is here.
final girl. What's
Sorry,
that?
I didn't mean to interrupt, but Fate is here.
Oh, Faith showed up. All right.
Sorry, you should read
But
the super chat.
yeah, I want to read that again because I want to read that because I want to make sure I get this out for Bob. Radio silence is fooling people with five. Tara is the true final girl. I hope so, Bob.
So
Yes.
sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to disrespect you. I was just shocked that Fate.
No, it's okay. No, it's all right. We came back to Bob, and absolutely. I love the spontaneity. That's the whole point. Initial reaction to stuff. Bob, I hope you're right, brother. Man. You have no idea how much I want to see Tara step up into a lead role in 6. Take the reins from Sam and say, I'm going to be the guy. I'm the girl. I'm the one. And I don't know that they'll write her that way, but man, I'm knocking on every piece of wood in my home every day that Guy and James, the writers, have done that for her in this script. But now we got issues. Fate, listen, brother, man, I love you, man, but there comes a point where enough's enough, man. It's one thing to blast Stu on your channel. That's your house, bro.
Craven
But
Stu is dead is my favorite hashtag.
Craven Stu is dead. Hashtag Craven Stu is dead. All I can tell you guys is everyone in the chat, all of my Cravenites, everybody who's on the Stu train, period, let Fate know how wrong he is right now about this.
Remember,
Come on.
gentle. You don't want to push him too hard.
That's true. You're right. Thank you, Gory. I get a little bit passionate about Stu,
I know.
and so I need to learn reel it in a little bit sometimes. But
We hear
um,
you.
we love you, Fate. You're good people, but be gone, blasphemer. No, don't be gone, blasphemer. I just love that line. That's so good. Uh, that's so right. Stu Nation is for life. Yes. Oh, and Jin's got the best one. I can kick you out.
If you guys keep on this path, you're going to end up being the next YouTube boxing match, and I don't want to see that.
Oh yeah, you're right. He has the right to say that. Everyone has the right to make mistakes. It's part of living.
We hear you, Fate. We love you.
Yes, we do. Welcome. Stu.
See what we're doing. We're using those same tactics.
We are. This is how Stu did it with
logical deep dive. Like we're
it's right here. It's all there. This is exactly how Stu did it with the Dreaded Post. Is how he works on his cult of people with Amber, Richie, and all the others we're gonna meet. Hashtag Amber Lies. Jacqueline, I've got to add the hashtag Amber Lies to my little. I have a little string of Stu hashtags, and I love that. I've got to add that to mine. That is so awesome. Faith says, I love you too. Stu. I love you too, but see cult leader Craven. Dude, I'm the conductor of the Stu train.
Is that such an insult? I mean, you love Stu, and obviously we believe that he's a cult leader.
I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings. That's for sure. Yeah. Look, I say it like this: package it however you want, but at the end of the day, I am the champion for Stu's return, and just get yourself ready. Get your popcorn ready.
That you have enough charisma to lead a cult.
Well, actually, I didn't even think about that. That's maybe that is actual backwards kind of compliment. Maybe that's what that means. Listen, it's gonna be okay, Fate. Buddy. I know that we've still got a whole another year, and it's gonna be all right. We're gonna get you there slowly, but it's good. But we're gonna get it up.
I'm helping, like not even just with like the screen discussion. I'm helping with your relationships, buddy.
You are, you need to be our relationship mediator. Our little, when Fate and I have a breakdown of our stew talk, you can help kind of mend everything back together again.
Yes, yes.
Um, and Fate, I have your stew train ticket for you anytime you want it, buddy. I've got that on hold for you. It
Wow.
is ready to go. A $5 super chat buys you a stew train ticket, and I've got it ready to go anytime you're ready. So you just say the word, buddy. I'm here for you.
See, you got it. See, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of
It's
you. You're
growth.
growing so much.
Growth in just a couple of hours. Look at
You're a
that.
smart cookie. Like, look how quickly you turn that around.
I do try. I try very hard. Facing the jungle now.
So,
That's-
I think I know who your second pick would be.
oh, okay. This is all right. All right. All right. Go ahead. I want you. I want to see.
I think you're gonna say the bathroom girl.
Oh, Nancy Ann Ritter, the girl in the bathroom, who could be so easily be Christina. I'm not Christina. Sorry. Leslie Macher, Stu's sister, the mother of Vince, who we've not seen. We just know her name's Leslie. What if she was to come back, Gory, as Stu's sister, or some have even suggested Christina Carpenter? But what if she was to come back as one of those two characters? What do you think?
I think I would love to see her come back. Absolutely love to see her come back.
And after meeting her and really getting to know, and I've talked to her a lot, even offline, knowing how she is, like as a person and her personality, and how I'm rooting for her. Like I'm actively rooting for this to happen.
So look how perfectly this fits.
Okay.
Stu was the Marcy to the peppermint patty that was Billy, right? He was,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so was
Yeah.
bathroom girl, the cheerleader girl, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, the cheerleader girl in real life was dating Billy. It all comes together. It is destiny. She was destined
Yes.
to end up with Stu because they are of the same mindset. They've experienced the same things. They found
Yes.
beautiful love, a night of passion. They made a baby. Maybe it didn't work out in the long run because he's crazy. And
Yeah.
she seemed charming in the brief scene I saw her in. But
she,
she should come back.
she should come back. I 100%. I want her back so bad, and I just hope that it actually ends up happening. I think it would be so neat that she was to come back. And what a great, and again, she's another way to connect to the past. It's another way to connect to the original. And Gory, I want to tell you about, you've probably read it, but their interview that came out about a week ago now, where Tyler Gillett said that they are willing to risk everything to subvert fan expectations in Scream 6. And he said that, this is a quote, he said, "We are so far down the rabbit hole with the Scream movies that everything is up for grabs." That's what he said. And when I heard that comment, the first thing I thought of was, oh, everything's up for grabs. They're revisiting everything, and anything can happen from the past. And that's what sparked me making these videos I'm making right now on possible characters to return, and why I wanted us to talk about it, because they're all up for grabs. Any of these people could come back.
I mean, think about all these characters. Like, even Noxzema Girl from part 2 from the party, she was the killer in Urban. And they do even mention that she was in the Noxzema commercial. So it does kind of break the fourth wall, because she really did the Noxzema commercial.
She really did, yes.
Right? So Urban Legend has already made her kind of a multiverse character. That could easily be the same character in Scream 2. So, yeah, bring her back too.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Let's go. I mean, you could
perfect for the cult of Stu. She's in the sorority. She's used to following the pack. Recruit.
Yeah.
Plus, the scene he was in that movie was that party scene.
Yeah, yeah. And anyone from that scene, they could technically bring back and say, this is that person there. And why not? I mean, and like Jack says, hey, Jack, good evening, buddy. Good to see you, man. Jack Stannis, absolutely amazing. For all of you here that have not subscribed to Jack's channel, you've got to go do it. Check him out. Nicest guy in the world. Yeah, Gory, you need to go subscribe. This guy is amazing. He's a great content creator. He's created several Scream fan films.
Not subscribed.
Oh my gosh, you gotta
Oh,
watch his fan films,
look at
Gory.
you, Malignant Watch Party. I love Malignant.
Yes. Oh yeah, him and I was a guest on his channel last week to watch *Malignant* together, and I'm going to be a guest on
I'm
his
clutching
Jack's
my
channel.
damn pearls over this channel.
What's that?
I'm clutching my damn pearls. There's so many things I love. I love Jurassic Park. I love Scream. I love
Oh
Halloween.
yeah. Oh
All
yeah.
right. Just
Jack's
run
awesome.
to the subscribe button. Sleepaway Camp. All right, subscribe.
Oh yes. I was actually there over there as one of his guests for the Sleepaway Camp watch party. I was there with *Malignant* last week, and this Tuesday night I'm joining him on his channel. We're going to do a live watch party for Halloween 2018, and so you've got to come check him.
I'm gonna be in the chat.
Such a nice guy. Such a nice. I just love spending time with him.
I'm just always in the chat.
I love it.
It's like
you know what?
Never sleeps.
Oh, I was going to say, you know that you may see some invitations popping your way, Gory. You just never know what could happen.
We gotta hang out. We gotta have you on my channel.
I would love to be on your channel. It would be so much fun.
You gotta think of something cool for us to talk about.
Yeah, you just let me know. I'm all over it.
I like this to shoot in the breeze, though. So if I come up with something, it'll be pretty loose, so we can bounce right. Because you and I like that. You and I like to bounce, and somehow we follow where the train tracks go.
It's absolutely, and that's what I love. I love not being so rigid and following the line. I love to where we have a place that we're kind of aiming towards, and we may get there fully, or we may only get halfway there. But the journey's the fun part. It's this kind of stuff we're doing now, and it's laid back, and I call this. I like to say it like this: my streams are stress-free zones. There's no stress allowed. There's none of that stuff. We're just hanging out. We're loose. We're having fun, and it just always seems to work out great when we do that way. And so that's just the way I like to do things here. And I would love to be your guest. You just tell me when. I'll be there. I would love it.
It's gonna happen. I'm a little disorganized, as you can tell by the way I speak and my train of thought and how I bounce all over the place. But I am working on streaming more. So yeah, I've got some stuff planned. So definitely you're going to be part of these plans. But give me a little bit of time because
anytime, absolutely.
I'm a disorganized mess.
It's all good. Anytime, I'm open to anything at all. Valerie says, Gory, you're going to love Jack's fan films. Yeah, he's got some Scream fan films there. You got to watch them.
Also, that makes me really excited, Jack, because we just added, thanks to Jason Takes Omega, we added to the Oscars, which is over on Horror Addicts, our big award show, we added a fan film category. So absolutely, if you're making fan films, you could be nominated for an Oscar. Ooh. I don't know, dude. It sounds like they're pretty good.
Bro. Yes, definitely got to check them out. And Jack says, I subscribed right back to you, Gory. So there you go. All right.
I'm honored. Thank you so much.
And guys, again, I want to repeat one more time. If you haven't yet, please go subscribe to Gory B Movies channel. You see how amazing she is tonight. All of her videos are like this. They're just wonderful. Great content. She's a wealth of knowledge. If you can't tell already, she can go very deep, as deep in the waters of horror as you want to get into. Oh, wipe that face off your eye. I'm telling the truth here, Gory. I'm telling you guys, she's an encyclopedia of horror.
My friends outside of horror, we don't appreciate. They treat, how Ted, when they go to the Empire State Building, he's like, Empire State Building. Fun fact. That's how my friends refer to me. They're like,
that's awesome.
We don't need a dozen fun facts. We can just watch Halloween, Gory.
Yeah.
It's fine. But it's more fun.
I think it is. I'm vibing with you totally on this.
You guys get it.
We do. Absolutely. We no doubt about it. We get it. So as we come to a close, guys, I don't want to keep you too long. So you've got your after party soon. We've already been on two. I will say this though, 2.5 hours into the live stream, and we're still over 40 people in attendance, which is just fantastic. So it just goes to say,
some good stuff, man.
Well, likewise. I mean, this has been. I've been so excited about tonight. I knew it was going to be so much fun. And you know what's crazy is out of all of our conversation, we've only mentioned, I think, 3 people that we want to have come back out of like a potentially 6, 7, 8 people. I don't know. And I love that because we've got more things to talk about. Austin says, I'll be subbing to you, Gory. Ghostface says, I subscribe to you. There you go.
If you have channels too, usually I try to check it out, but let me know. Leave a comment and be like, hey, by the way, I make stuff too. I'll check. If it's horror, I'm probably gonna love it. Especially if you cover B movies. My heart, I can't take it.
I'll have to.
That's the sweetest thing anyone has ever said to me, Jen. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. She is the Randy of YouTube. That's a great line, Jen. I wish I'd have thought of that. That was good.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm dorky like him too. So there we
Oh,
go. We've
it's
established that you're the Stu. I'm the Randy.
there you go. I love it. I'll take that. Stu and Randy here.
Oh, I
Randy,
love it so much. And they were friends too. I mean, he invited him to his party. So
yes, he did, and he was even listening to the rules. Remember, he's like,
he
"I'll
was.
be right back." You know, he heard all the rules before that. You know, and he was all part of the thing. So
Mhm.
I love it. So how about this? And we can continue to have. I would love to have you back again soon to continue our thoughts on six, and we didn't even touch a lot on our some of the other stuff. A lot of the sequels we touched a little bit around them, but
There's like 6 movies we're talking about
it's
here.
a
We
lot
could
of
talk about it all in 2 hours.
no way, not even close. Like I say, we could have spent this much time on just one film
We really could.
easily, easily. We didn't even, you know, yeah, we didn't even talk about five and how we felt about the Ghostface killers and my least favorite character. Oh my gosh, the
You
the
didn't like her?
it says it all. I did not like Amber. I'm sorry. I just did not. That face was her attitude for the entire movie. I said if you could ever have a picture that can speak with a nonverbal statement of her character, personality, that's it to me. That's
I
the
liked
shot.
her when she was revealed as a killer because then she kind of came to life and she was just crazy. I wish
She
she had
did.
more of that energy earlier on because before that
Yeah.
she just had kind of the Cordelia kind of bitchy friend energy. And
Hmm.
honestly, I heard that early on in the script she was going to it was going to be established that she had like a crush on Tara and then
Yeah.
that would have made so much more sense because she's so protective of Tara, especially when
She
it comes
is.
to Wes. Like, back off my girl, you know. And I think they should have left that. I know that they wanted to have like a relationship between her and Richie, but I didn't really believe that. Like,
Yeah.
it felt weird. I don't think you needed that. They don't need to be in a relationship. It's also like what happened with Jill and uh,
Charlie.
Charlie in four.
Yeah.
You didn't
And I
need
have to say, and I will say this about just so I clarify, so everyone understands, as far as Amber goes, and the way I used to describe it was when I first watched the movie was from everything up until the reveal, I could not stand of Amber. Everything from the moment she shoots Liv, I liked it.
I
I
liked
liked that part of
I
it.
liked her too.
That part I liked. You're
She's
right, because
all
she,
burned up and like she's all crazy. Like she was very like just like the wild card one, and she was so entertaining in that final act. Like the final act, I'm telling you,
yes,
like the final act, I was like, I'm on board now. Because before then, I was like you, I was like, I don't really like her. I wasn't
that's
sure
right.
how I felt about Sam, and then I was just like,
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of things where I'm just like, oh, this could be better. I don't hate it,
Right.
but you know, it's just kind of like. eh,
Totally,
like,
man.
I don't hate corned beef, but if it's between that or steak, I'm gonna pick steak. Like, this is corned beef. It's not bad. I mean, like,
Oh
edible. It's
gosh.
fine. I like it. It tastes good. I
Right.
love ketchup.
Yeah, it's not like repulsive or disgusting.
Yeah,
It's just, but it's
exactly.
also not,
It's not steak and screaming.
yeah, yes. Everyone, and
And if you're
they all
not
are.
a meat eater, I am so sorry for that analogy. Just make it vegetables. I like Brussels sprouts because they make me feel like a giant when I eat them because they look like little heads of lettuce. I eat them
Oh
like
god.
popcorn.
Wait, hold up. What do you eat with popcorn now? You
I
said?
eat them like popcorn. I'll
Oh,
get
wow. I was like,
a steamed bag of Brussels sprouts. I'll
I
do
got
that,
you.
put a little bit of salt on them, and I just eat them. So good.
Interesting.
I love
I
sprouts.
don't think I've ever heard that combination before.
So good.
Okay. Hey, you know what? You never knock it till you try, right? Because you never know.
You know. Oh, honey, Jen. Yeah. Oh, I love Buffy so much. This is just my other stuff. My Buffy things are in here, but like I have a whole shrine to Buffy in my bedroom. Like, seriously, we need to talk more Buffy over on my channel. It needs to happen. I am Buffy obsessed.
Love it. You guys definitely need to do it. Jack says, I love Brussels sprouts. There you
Yay,
go.
Jack gets it. Yay, they're so good.
Oh my gosh. So I'll tell you what, how about this? We'll close up here and say,
I'm so sorry.
what is the, no, this is, look, I'm only stopping because you've got your after party. I know it's getting late. What would be for now? And this can change next time. So I'm not going to hold you to it. But What is the one thing, if you could say, if radio silence says Gory B, I want to know one thing you want in Scream 6. Only you can only have one on your list. What would it be that you said this needs to happen?
It doesn't have to happen in that movie, but I want some breadcrumbs to a cultist stew.
Nice. Love it. Yes. Because don't you Stu, I want to, I'm gonna have to get you in a minute when we go off the live stream. I'm about to record you. I want to like kind of get you saying, I'm Gory B. I'm on the Stu train. Stu. I have to get you. That's just like, I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it for something. I'm going to use that clip if you're willing to do it.
Okay, sure.
We can definitely do that. Jen says Red Lobster has the best Brussels sprouts. Oh wow. Well, there you go. Interesting. Oh my gosh.
I love my own Brussels sprouts. It takes
really
like a whole season because you have to do them early and they're not done until like fall, but it's so good.
Okay, you need to check with Jack because Jack is very much into that, like doing your own thing, like stuff as well. And so that's interesting. So Jack, you and Gory may have a lot in common.
I do a lot of my own stuff. I also got into car detailing and car painting. I have many things I do.
Nah, I love that. I love that. It's so cool.
It helps with my scatterbrain.
Well, but you know what? There's creative outlets for all of that, which turns it into productiveness, which is what's great. Wow. All right. So listen, guys, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for staying up and hanging out with us tonight. This has been such a good time. Thank all of you for your super chats. You guys have been so generous tonight. I really appreciate that. And thank you for sticking around for 2 hours and 37 minutes and 50, about to be 2 hours and 38 minutes. What a great time. This has gone by so quick. And Gory, and before I say that, everyone else, one more time, go subscribe. Go subscribe to Gory B Movie. And listen, I want to hop over to her channel in a few minutes to see what's going on with her after party. I'm going to pop in and say hello. So everybody, you should come on over there too when she gets it set up, and let's see what's shaking on her channel and show her some love. Val says, amazing stream, Stephen and Gory. Well, thank you. Appreciate you. And Gory, I want to say honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I have had such fun. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be and more. And I think we have just started to scratch the surface on the conversations that we can have. We have just started. And Shocker and Deadly Friend, and I mean, there are places to go that I want to go with you with. I want to go there with you. So I just want to say thank you.
Both those movies, and oh my God, there's so many West Coast people under the stairs, Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh, that's another one that's so good.
Deadly Friend, though, it's got to be like, I love Deadly Friend so much. I love that movie.
I did too. I mean, I've been wanting to watch it again
for. A lot of people have read the book, but it's so good.
No. Jackie says, awesome stream, you too. Jen says, thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. MM says, I subscribed, you guys. Great. Wonderful. Much appreciated. So, Gory, we'll do this again soon. Yes, we're on board for. You'll be welcome to come back. I want to have you back. And
like that Scream scab. We're just gonna keep
picking at it and moving it around and putting ointment on it. New theories, new ideas. Just continue to make it. So, MM says, I don't want to miss the next one. Well, that's right. You definitely don't want to miss the next one. It's going to be great. So we'll talk soon. We'll talk offline. Everyone, we appreciate you. And I see you here. Bob says, glad to be here. Just remember, all the Cravenites will be there. And that's, I don't know, Gory, if you've seen this yet, but I'll maybe initiate you into this. This is an inside thing. So when someone says, I'll be there, there's something very specific that we're referring to. It's a little song. And so I think the way to end this stream, I'll say goodbye to the chat now, and then we will finish with our little song, and we'll call it a night. So, Gory, thank you again. Appreciate you. And everyone in the chat, I love you guys. You know I do. Thanks for all your support, all your super chats, and just for being here and making this a fun time with me and Gory B. And we'll catch you next time, and make sure that you'll be there. Bye, guys.